It's a time ago.
I have hit the go. So that
Go.
means we have to go. We are chained to going.
So like all week, I've been learning from 10,000 internet leftists that the reason that SNAP recipients are all fat is because did you know that if you're poor, you can literally only buy food that makes you fat? Like
Oh,
it's
food.
like did you know like lean chicken costs more than not lean chicken and that's what makes them fat. And also soda is cheaper than bottled water.
I've heard that
So
soda's cheaper than water. So
SNAP recipients like cuz I mean all
You
42 million
need bottled water. Oh, I guess
they
if you
don't
live in.
they don't have water in, Salt Lake City.
yeah, what are they
I mean,
supposed to do?
yeah, like just because they literally live in they don't just live in the
Under
food
WIC
desert.
program, they give $40 a day for fruit and vegetables. I saw and watched that program with my own eyes when I worked at Rancho Markets for all the Mexicans and later Venezuelans. I've told you before, that lady who runs that Mexican market is pissed off because now she only has Venezuelans and she's not allowed to hire Mexicans
No,
anymore.
there's also like because here's the other thing is that did you know that like fresh produce doesn't last very long?
Yeah.
Yeah, they give
And-
that's daily. It's like
and
$40 a day.
No,
it's
but
hard
they're
to get
poor.
there.
They're poor, and so they can't go to the store more than one time in a month.
So the only thing that lasts is Ritz Cheez-Its.
Yeah, no Doritos, because like I mean, dry rice and dry beans, those are extremely expensive.
I've got
I-
frozen tilapia in that fridge. It's been there for months. It's survived.
Every time I hear lefties talk about minorities at this point, I'm like, man, Bush, you were totally wrong. It should be the hard bigotry of no expectations at all.
It's not
Because it's
soft
shit
at
like
all.
it's shit like voter ID laws are racist. Does black people can't get IDs?
They
Why?
don't know how to use the internet.
You don't think
They
they know
don't-
how to do that?
Computers. It's numbers.
They don't know how to take a bus to a library.
They don't know how to cook.
It's
We need to
digital.
buy
They don't know what a
prepared
computer
meals.
is.
It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing just the pure gaslighting that goes on. Because the other thing is like I've just been enjoying, like on NPR comment section on Facebook on all the stories about Snap. I just asked, should people who can work but won't get benefits? And like they will not just say, well, no.
Yeah, there's no
Like
there's
they
no
can't
cutoff
just say
line.
that. Like they won't like because that's like actually like most SNAP recipients are children and a lot of them are like elderly and disabled. I'm like, okay, but should people who can work but won't get benefits? And like they literally cannot bring themselves to say, well, no. And I think it's just as simple as they have the cogdice, and Republicans are evil and stupid and are destroying everything. And so like to bring themselves to say, well, yeah, that shouldn't be the case. Like, the welfare shouldn't be something that can be easily abused. And we shouldn't be throwing money at people who could like they can't say that. They refuse to say that.
But there's this weird
Because
thing going on.
then they would have to agree with Republicans on one thing. And they can't agree with Republicans on one thing.
There's this weird new thing I've noticed where anytime you talk about giving food to like a homeless person or something, like I've said it before, and they're like, "Well, I'd love to give him money, but obviously, there's a whole old trope of if he's just gonna buy beer or drugs with it, I don't want to do that. I'll just get him some food instead." And I got attacked in a comment section over that, like, say, it's none of your business what he buys with it. Yes, it is. It directly is.
Yeah.
It's my money. He's like, no, you've given it to him. It's his money now.
Yeah,
Well, then I'm not going to give it to him if I want my money to do a good thing.
Like
if
if you
he buys heroin with it, it's doing a bad thing.
like when you give $50 to your kid for Christmas, and like, well, if he wants to buy heroin, that's his money now. Like,
It's your money now. You do whatever.
oh,
you
that
want.
actually reminds me of something I keep forgetting to talk about. Is that because at work most mornings I first thing I do is stop at the Maverick to get a big cup of water. I don't buy the bottled water because the bottled water is like $3 a bottle, but for 50 cents, I can just get a giant cup and fill it with ice and then fill it up the rest of the day. But anyway, they have the self-checkout stand. And, when you check out, you put in your Maverick Club number and all that crap. And then there's would you like to round up or donate to charity? And there's like round up, $1, $2, $5, $10. In the bottom corner, there's a button that says bypass charity. And I just love that button.
Yeah, that's a cool button.
It gives me the exact same feeling as when I make eye contact with the guy holding the sign at the edge of the parking lot at the Smiths. Like, yep, I see you. And I'm just going to bypass you. I'm bypassing you right past you. And so I liked it. Like, yeah, just bypass charity. That's my button. Thank you.
Bypass the button you pushed on life. We got the whole poker table here. We got Troy. We got Charles. We got Steve. We got Starbase. We got Risto. What's going on, everybody? So what you're saying is once we give Iran money, we shouldn't judge them for spending on nukes.
Is there money?
Money's not fungible. Like if we give them money, we can't look at what they do with other money. That's not how money works.
23% of Snap. 23% of Snap is spent on junk food. And like, and I just yeah, because that's the other thing is like, and I wouldn't even say like, because like, I don't mind if people have a treat here and then, like even on welfare, like sure, like
I would even pass like stuff like I can't remember the names of crackers, like a Ritz crackers. If people are passing that off as food or something like that,
sure.
Which I think is junk food. But if people are eating that for dinner, I think that's fine.
Yeah, crackers and cheese. But yeah, like no, but just I mean, even then, like okay, so you want to buy a 2-liter bottle of soda once a week, fine, but like it's just this whole thing. I mean, because they are literally saying on the lefty loos on the internet.maniac.com, like that SNAP recipients are at immediate risk of literally starving to death. It's like, no, they're not.
You know how
they're all fucking fat. Like they'll be okay for a little while. And then, but also just like, again, like my family, we were poor growing up. We ate fucking rice and beans 6 days a week.
Oh,
and
yeah,
in fact,
spaghetti,
like
tons of spaghetti.
Most of Latin America lives on fucking dry rice and beans, and they're cheap as fuck.
My family was Utah Mormon, which you want to know what I found out with that? Go asking around to most people, and we've all kind of had the same shambly diet in general around Utah. Like, what did your parents leave around the house? Costco Golden Graham crackers, or the 3 cereals of Chex, or I don't know what is like 10 things that we all eat. Yeah, some weird applesauce.
I tell you about this. This was one of the most embarrassing things I ever did. It's when we were first married. We're visiting her family in St. Louis. My mother-in-law likes throwing big parties, right? So she's throwing this big New Year's Eve party, and she's like, I was like, you need help with anything? And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, you said you wanted to get out and see stuff in St. Louis, right? I was like, yeah. She's like, well, if you want to take my car, you can get out, see some stuff, and then if you can, pick up some stuff at Sam's Club for me for the party. I was like, oh yeah, sure. She gives me a list, and then she hands me her EBT card. And I was like, oh fuck, no, oh fuck. I can't do it. Oh, I gotta buy party supplies. So I pull up to Sam's Club. I pull up with my giant cart full of shit. Like platters, chips and dip, and candy, and fucking tons of soda. And I pull up the cart, and they're scanning it. And he's like, all right, that'll be, I don't know, $6 million or whatever. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I just gingerly kind of slide the card to him and hope nobody's looking.
Steve said we had spaghetti carrots too cheap to buy meatballs. Cyrus Cole says frozen corn dog and burritos. Steve says no bologna except on special occasions. I remember that from his comic. Bologna is for closers. Bologna is for closers. Yeah,
like because
we never got bologna. That would like, I don't know if my mom just didn't like it or if bologna is for closers and we weren't closers.
Bologna's ass.
I had
I wanted it when I was a kid.
I wanted it until I tried it.
I like
Somebody look up carrot spaghetti. See what that is.
When I mean, because I had the weird experience just because my mom was an immigrant, and like I still remember this day. Like it was one of the first times I realized, like, oh, our family is different. Was like it was first grade, and it was lunchtime, and all the kids were going around the table about like, what did you have for dinner last night? And like they went around the table, and it was like, tuna casserole, spaghetti and meatballs, pot roast, and then it got around to me, and I was like, we had rice and beans with pork hearts and bananas, and everybody went, ooh. And I was like, well,
your parents probably eating cheaper, probably ate better than my parents gave to me. As I've said before, my parents wouldn't get us Cocoa Pebbles because that was junk food. They'd get us Tricks because that's fruit. Because that's fruit.
No way.
I'm not kidding. My parents are smart people. My parents are smart people, and they thought that.
This is fucking candy.
They 100% thought that.
Hang on.
I'm seeing carrot spaghetti here. Hold on.
I think he just means they put
they carroted it up because the noodles were cheap. I thought it was like carrot.
He said they couldn't afford meatballs. So I think
carrots instead of meatballs. Well, that makes sense.
That's like in Haiti when they eat the dirt to fill up their tummies. Yeah. I guess anybody who kind of grew up Mormon with like a ton of kids knows kind of poverty. Like I ate applesauce made off of the apples of the trees in my neighbor's yard.
Wait, so I'm
like, because these people say like, oh, they can't, oh, it's too hard to make food. And like my mom, when we were growing up, on once a week, she would make a huge pot of beans, and then she got a bunch of Tupperware and she would freeze beans. And cooked frozen beans last a long fucking time. And so she only had to cook beans once a week. And then, the rest of the week, she'd, every day pull out a Tupperware of beans from the freezer, throw it in a pan, heat it up. Fucking rice and beans cost nothing. Like
my dad worked for the church office building, and he was the only one working because moms didn't work back then. And so we knew when payday was. It was every other Friday, and they'd go to the grocery store, and we'd eat like kings for one day every 2 weeks. And then the rest of the 2 weeks, I think they got pretty good at buying the stuff that we wouldn't eat. So we'd look at it and be like, there's nothing to eat. Well, get some grape nuts. Like,
We never really had snacks that often.
No, we didn't. Like it was just graham crackers, and I just got so sick of them I didn't want them anymore. But that's the only thing that was around. I don't know what else. If I stop and think about it, or I start asking other people around, like we made the macaroni and cheese. We didn't have it in craft stuff.
Oh hell no! You never ever get name brand shit. Which for certain things, like I understand wanting name brand, but shit like cereal, I never fucking understood the people that got name brand cereal instead of just great value. There is literally no difference.
The pillow-sized bags of cereal.
You got massive bags.
There's a little bit of difference in the quality, I think.
No way. No. If I put two next to you, if I put a bowl of Cocoa Pebbles next to you and then a bowl of chocolate flaky Fox.
I think there's something like when they say like
there's a slight difference.
I think really what it comes down to, and I've heard this before. I'm not making. This is not from my brain, but I remember learning this somewhere. That like when it comes to like the principal difference between name brand and store brand is how finely ground the flour that they are using is. And like that's why you notice that like off-brand macaroni and cheese is just ever so slightly gritty, and I think it's the same thing with the cereal.
The niece of Robert D. Hill, that I dated, her and her sister worked at the fake cereal thing in Brigham City. What's the fake cereal brand name? It's like Mills or
General Mills.
General Mills is like a name brand one.
Name brand.
There's a Brigham City, and that's one of like the world's most famous ones, like made right here in Utah.
Oh, Post. Yeah, no, I was there yesterday. I was in Tremont and
Post is name brand.
No, but there is up in Tremont, because it's right next to the hospital where I go for work sometimes.
Malto Meal.
Yeah, Starbase got it. You said there was a new apostle announced?
Yes.
There was? Who is it? Tim Ballard.
No, it's a frog. It's a Frenchie. That's why
it wasn't the black dude?
No, he's the first not native English speaking apostle.
That's almost like a black
No,
dude.
he's not. What are you talking about? We already got 2 of them in there, right? We got 3 of them in there right now.
Wait. Oh wait,
Well,
there's
Was gone.
I guess
born
wait,
in
that's
America?
right.
I told you the church was
Yeah.
going
Why did I
postmodern,
read
man.
that? Somebody said
They're
I think
bringing-
JSL said something about
Yeah, we got Uchtdorf, Suarez, and Gong.
oh.
They're bringing Frenchies in. They're going postmodern, man. Elder Gerald Causet.
I'm a little bit honestly.
That's where he was the first non-native English speaker to be the presiding bishop.
Oh,
That's who he was first of.
so I'm kind of honestly, I'm a little shocked they didn't get a black guy.
Yeah, I thought it was for sure going to be that dude, Corbett, whatever.
I mean, that's kind of like I just thought with their risk aversion, they would definitely just do that. I guess
Yeah, I
Oaks
thought
is
sooner or
just like,
later-
fuck that, I like this guy.
Oaks
All
doesn't care.
The black apostles are too worried trying to feed their families without SNAP.
Is he the first apostle with a guion, or that's not a guion, an accent in his name?
He's got 2. Gerald Cosset.
I don't know. I don't think Uchtdorf has an umlaut.
Does he? Maybe it does.
Uchtdorf.
I don't think it does.
Even though, yeah,
It does
hooray.
bother me that there's no Sedelia in English because it does ruin a whole bunch of words.
Well, now I see why Tim Ballard's so pissed off. I did not guess that he would be that mad. Before we get into Tim Ballard being in a nutbag, do you?
I'm excited. for
Corolla's
that.
been on a thing for a while about judging how much parents cared for you or not if your mom made sandwiches for you and what kind of sandwiches she made for you. I'm gonna have to go right off the bat and say I don't judge my mom off that because she did not make me good sandwiches, and I think my mom is great, but she didn't make me shit for sandwiches. But if she did, it would be the world's worst peanut butter and brown sugar sandwich.
You know what sandwich my dad likes? He tried to get me to eat this a bunch. Pineapple and mayonnaise.
Pineapple and mayonnaise?
Yeah. Which
What?
That's
he says
is
it's
that
a
legal?
it shouldn't be. He says it's a thing in the South because he's from Tennessee.
I mean, because wow. I've
I
never
know.
heard
Well,
that.
his
We're gonna have
mom,
to look it up. If we talk Mormon food, we will come across many weird.
well, his
ideas.
mom offered me a peanut butter and pickle sandwich once.
My mom.
I just thought that was a Cosby joke. But no,
My
she-
grandpa
Yeah,
used to eat peanut butter sandwiches. Like
I've
thick butter.
I've
Wow.
yet to do it. Like I've always had the idea of I forget what it's called, but Elvis's favorite sandwich was like you take an entire loaf of bread, hollow it out, and then you put a jar of peanut butter in it and a pound of cooked bacon, and then bananas, and that was the sandwich.
Jesus. I mean, that'd probably be good. That'd be good without
Wow,
the bacon.
pineapple.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, I would eat like a mayonnaise and pineapple on a hamburger and not think twice about it.
Yeah,
The what
because
was
like
her name?
Brazilians put bananas and orange slices in black bean stew.
Yeah.
And for Americans, you hear that and you go, the fuck? But, that's all I ever knew growing up. Well, the other thing that's strange, like, 'cause I was like 12 when I learned that avocado was normally used as a savory thing. Because when we were kids, the way
Really?
we ate avocado, the way Brazilians eat avocado is you mash it up with some sugar and lemon juice and you make a pudding out of it and it's like dessert.
Wow.
Like
Yes.
that's what I thought avocado was until I was seriously when I was like 12 and people were like, I think it was the first time I had avocado on like a BLT and I was like, what the fuck, you can't do that.
You know, it's funny. One of my coworkers was asking me about Brazil today. He was like, "So, is it like actually true that the girls are really hot there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like,
They're
"What
just
is it?"
thinner.
I'm like, I told him I was like, "Well, first off, they're way less fat than we are." He's like,
Yeah,
"Really?" I was
There
like, "Oh
aren't nearly
god."
so
Yeah.
many fatties.
He's like,
Yeah.
"How many fatties are there?" And I'm trying to think about it. I'm like, man, there wasn't very many. And all the ones I can think of were older. And then he looks it up. He's like, "Holy fuck, they've got like a 3% obesity rate."
Yeah. No, see, that ties back into the thing we were talking about earlier is that, like, because in Brazil, like, everybody is super fucking poor. They're way poor. The average Brazilian has less money to spend on food than the average SNAP recipient, and they're not fucking fat. Like,
dude,
how the hell do they swing that?
when I was short on, I don't know how you can live in America and think that it's like. I remember being on my mission. We had to move into this
Wow.
new apartment. We had no money because we had to buy a bunch of stuff. We seriously had like 2 reais between both of us, and we go to the store. We don't have any food in this new place, and all we can really buy is like white bread and this weird meat paste. We're sitting there on the ground. There's no furniture. We're just sitting in our coats because it's cold as fuck, just kind of like shivering and like passing the meat paste tube around. And we kind of just started laughing. We're like, this is fun, you know?
We gotta see some comments here. Risa says we ate Roman meal bread and that canned orange juice. When's the last time I had canned orange juice? It had to have been all the way back in the 80s. We had peanut butter and butter, and so did Troy. I think it's good. My grandpa would put on like an inch of peanut butter and an inch of butter. It was the nastiest thing I ever saw. Well, I guess I never tried. And he died early of a heart attack, and I'm guessing that played a role. Homemade jam with fresh bread is better than anything you can buy. It's a great keto pudding. Somalis eat bananas with their savory meals.
Troy says Koreans eat tomatoes like fruits, sliced and dipped in sugar, which is interesting because when I was a missionary, there was a Canadian guy who served us fresh slices of tomatoes with honey, and I thought that was amazing. But the caveat there, and I wondered, Troy, are the tomatoes in Korea good, or are they absolute fucking shit like they are in Utah?
Dude, the tomatoes in Brazil were fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, like in California, that's it. Like in California, tomatoes are good. But in Utah, it's like, it's that thing where they pick them green and they ripen on the trucks.
Oh,
and yeah, it's like if you're close to where tomatoes are grown, they're good. But like Utah, the tomato situation is bad. Like that's
you
why.
Want
like
to know what? Now that you're talking about it, I don't think I had a tomato in Mexico that wasn't mashed into a salsa.
Oh, dude, that was my favorite thing when they gave you the rice and beans, and then they just have like fresh tomatoes sliced up to mix in with it. That was fucking good.
But I don't remember tomatoes outside of salsa. Like I really don't. Like I'm
like fresh tomato.
No tomatoes. Like no slices of tomatoes on stuff. How we do it.
Oh, did you?
Risa says Asian bean desserts.
Oh yeah, the red bean sweet paste they make.
Huh.
Starway says Germans once made me banana with balsamic for a dessert. Was not a fan. That doesn't sound good.
That sounds good to me. I love balsamic and bananas.
Risa says Subway always has a corner of the market on the tomatoes of any town. That's because they get it from WIC programs. That's how Subway gets it.
Subway always has a corner of the market on the worst, pretty much fucking anything in town.
I heard some idea. A good idea for Subway to make a comeback. Have Jared come back and get fat off it and be like, "This is so good. I got fat again."
I'm too fat to rape kids now.
New sandwiches are so good. I ate 50 of them.
They start putting Doritos on a Subway sandwich. That's one of the toppings you can get.
Oh,
sorry,
dude.
cut you off.
My family did that. My mom would make us ham sandwiches, and my dad taught us Doritos, like nacho cheese Doritos on a ham sandwich. Fucking awesome.
Tomatoes in America were popularized by John C. Bennett.
That's news to me.
Huh.
Cambodians eat sliced green tomatoes and fish sauce.
I do that.
They would serve them a little green chilled wedge. You dip them in sugar with a toothpick. Quite a common summertime treat. Man,
Troy, to answer your question, so I got it to work and I had like 5 minutes to look at it, and then I had to go to bed, and I haven't been back to it. I'm still like, I want to have like a little time to devote to it to figure it all out, but it does look super fucking cool. Like it's a more immersive experience for sure, which I guess is the whole point of it.
Steve said the ancient Pythagoreans did not eat beans for religious reasons, but those are the weird cult guys, right? They had the weird abstinence things and sex cult stuff. The Pythagoreans,
some kind of weird Jew that doesn't eat beans.
Speaking of weird sex cult, that brought transition.
Segue.
Segue.
Well, speaking of beans, you got to try Bean Dream. My sleep has seriously never been better.
Does it have all the stuff you need?
Everything. Like,
It has what's good for you?
Even if they didn't pay us for this, I would be hawking this product right now.
Wow.
In fact, I'm gonna pay them some money for letting.
Bean Dream, is that a coffee bean?
I've heard Tim Pool talk about it, and I don't even remember. Is it
cocoa? It's a cocoa. It's a cocoa, and it has all the things you need.
Is that the one? Like, there's one that I see some people hawking that they use like an unbelievably badly edited clip of Joe Rogan and somebody talking about how like there's a chocolate extract is supposed to be the.
Have you noticed like there's a lot of things hawking stuff out there that try to make it appear like they're on Joe Rogan's show? They don't necessarily show Joe Rogan like that bad of like an old timey who did that. Conan O'Brien was the first one starting to like edit himself into having fake interviews with people and then put the other person on. They don't put Joe Rogan on their side, but they make it look like they're on Joe Rogan's program. Like they have like the brick background. It looks like they're talking like, this is the stuff that you need. It's what's good for you. You need it.
Dude, I remember D-Vase did that with Bill Reel and RFM one time, and it was so fucking fun. It was. I laughed my ass off. I was knee slapping. I threw up. That's how hard I laughed. It was hilarious. Anyway, I don't know anything about this Tim Ballard thing. I've been seeing a little bit.
Why does he look like he looks like the villain from Terminator 2?
It kind of does.
I mean, I guess he is that. I mean, he basically is.
I mean, he's got his phony.
I don't know that you don't need any setup for this. You can just listen.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. This is.
Everybody, I am here to give you the message that I announced yesterday. I'm so sorry for those of you who thought that I was going to announce a divorce or something. Not at all. Catherine and I are very, very much in love and very, very much united. We're in love. And
they caught it on film.
I know. That was a really authentic moment.
Like, oh, we just happened to be standing in front of this camera that was rolling.
I guess that's hard proof right there.
In love under a covenant with Jesus that no man can.
I was thinking they were getting divorced, but now I am squared away on that one.
Lie about. I want to tell you something before I announce this. I'm going to read something to you, a press release that's made by myself, my wife, legal and production team of Hidden War. It's very, very important. I've made 2 covenants.
Why is he talking like that? I mean, I'm almost more angry at his affectation than at how stupid this thing gets. But
many covenants, but 2 important ones.
Do you like the music? I wonder if
this sounds like a seminary movie.
Okay. One is with my Savior to rescue his children at any cost, even if that cost is my own life. I've proven that, and I believe that. Another covenant I've made is to protect and defend his kingdom. So many people think that I have been.
Could you just fucking tell us what your announcement is, you stupid jackass?
After you listen to what I say,
I think you got to get in the mood. Like you got to get buttered up, like the same way. I don't know. It's kind of like called the what's this called? It's called the ruse, the companionship ruse. He's trying to butter you up and fake fucking you so that the drug people don't get duped. That's what
you'll know that I'm not doing that. I am attacking something you hate that has infiltrated a piece of something you love.
Why did you just say infiltrated?
I don't know. I like the words though.
It has infiltrated something you love.
Yeah, Troy says now I can't unsee the T1000 thing. I just picture him talking to some chick, talking her into the couple's ruse with that face, looking at her like, it'll seem like I've infiltrated your vagina. Instead, I've helped you infiltrate the death of a druggie.
His whole story sounds like it sounds like the South Park episode where the cop does the sting, the prostitute sting, but he like always sucks a dude's dick and then arrests him for he's like wiping the cum off.
Isn't that South
You're
Park?
under arrest. Yeah.
Okay. I am trying to live both of these covenants by doing what I'm doing, what Catherine and I and our team are doing right now.
And
the thing is, like, if he just like shut up and went through like that court thing and stuff like that and just said, geez, I would give him some benefit. Like my raison d'etre is to give people benefits of doubts on stuff that I don't have proofs on. But this stuff makes me think, okay, he did it.
I know they're lies because I know the evidence, and I know my husband. And he's not perfect. He's not perfect. And trying to figure out how to rescue over 7,000 children, not just him personally, but through his organization, and as he's led teams and taught people how to do this. This has been groundbreaking work. So
why do they blink out the chicks' faces there?
You can't make an underground railroad without cracking a few pussies.
So to catch the bad guy, you chicks got to get naked, and we got to grapple you and grope
Dude,
you. That's him with the long hair. I didn't even notice that was him.
Yeah, I know. That looks terrible. If you don't lick my taint, there's no way they'll believe this. Like,
they're not going to lie that you want drugs until my man bits are all over your titties.
you're going to learn things. You're going to be like, okay, we ran into this situation, and that could have been dangerous. Let's adjust. This has definitely been like oh, okay. I guess we shouldn't do operations this way anymore, which is it's unfortunate because they were rescued.
We were nakedly catching a bunch of kids.
Like, I guess we shouldn't do it this way because it's a bummer. I really enjoyed the cuck chair.
This is the press statement. This is going far and wide. It's going to every outlet, every podcast around the world. Every government official already has it. And we're doing this to defend the kingdom, to defend children who are being hurt by a lie.
Every government official, like, you think Mamdani got a copy? That would be like hilarious. Like Mamdani gets voted in. He's like, what's my first order of business? Read this shit from Tim Ballard.
Sir, Tim Ballard's on the line. Give it to me now.
You need to be informed about the deep church.
Tim and Catherine versus the deep church. Deep.
Oh, he misspelled church.
Wait, what?
He misspelled church.
Sure.
The deep church.
Yeah, I mean, I gave away the joke of the deep church. I mean, I should have let him say it first, but I mean, that's
The deep church, you get it.
the deep church.
He's like, he wants to make sure you know what he's saying.
The deep chair is what
Deep
he
church.
calls. It's the cuck chair. It's the cuck chair.
Hey, what's your favorite position? The deep chair.
Following the 2023 success of Sound of Freedom, President Trump urged Tim Ballard to run for the U.S. Senate in Utah, which Ballard publicly announced and was winning in straw polls by up to 80%.
Is he speaking in
conjunction
the third person?
Yeah, but it's the press release.
Yeah, he's reading their press release, but like
Okay.
I think it was just written by him, so whatever.
He says, is that the church where they worship the gourd?
Gord Dermot.
I think Steve just converted me to a new cult. I'm part of the church of the gourd.
With President Trump, Congress also publicly proposed the Sound of Freedom Act, which included action against Utah-based sexual abuse of children. Weeks later, representatives of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in collaboration with the George Soros-owned anti-Christian, pro-pedophile tabloid outlet Vice News, now defunct, commenced a massive defamation campaign against Ballard, thus effectively knocking him out of the Senate race and thwarting Congress's efforts to pass the Sound of Freedom Act.
What if every ounce of this is true?
I know. I think about that. I'm like, what if like he really did have to fuck those women and like he saved a ton of children
And saved 7,000
He's just like, you sons of bitches, you don't understand. I saved sex slaves. We like genuinely didn't want to. I didn't want to bring that strap on, but I had to. He had to beg me. I had to
skin Conchita alive.
I had to dirty Sanchez.
Ballard and his
bitch.
Charles Wagner asked if this is set to Minecraft music.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that.
Wife, Catherine, were then hit with false allegations and lawsuits that
Why was she wasn't hit?
alleged sexual abuse by the couple. Entities inside the church
By the couple? Like, why are they putting that in the thing? She wasn't accused.
I don't know. Maybe she was really in the cuck chair.
Oh, I guess.
then used the tabloid defamation to do further damage to Ballard's reputation by handing the lie to their LDS ecclesiastical.
Like, if you were the producer of this, wouldn't like this part be kind of trying to change the music like a little bit, or like you don't need the "Love You Jesus Christ" Mormon video music over this part.
Leader with instructions to excommunicate Ballard. The LDS leader followed the instruction and denied the Ballards access to scripturally guaranteed due process. The LDS leader refused to provide any names of those who were making allegations, thus making a defense impossible, and refused to allow a key witness to testify, even as that witness stood outside the leader's door. Central to the conspirators was Kelly Suarez, the female trafficker depicted in Sound of Freedom, who sued Tim, Catherine, and Angel Studios. She has since been convicted of child trafficking, and the other...
Whoa.
Oh, Jesus. Steve answered the question. It's not Minecraft, it's church music.
It's church music.
Yeah. Troy said, also, have you seen John Connor?
Other lawsuits have, for the most part, ended in similarly tragic fates for the false accusers. Civil and criminal action is pending against all conspirators.
I think he looks like, I'm going to have to look up the actor. Ugh.
And indictments are expected very soon and in multiple countries. In the meantime, authorities inside the church have refused to retract the obvious defamation, which is now being used by groups like ISIS and traffickers and pedophiles in general to obstruct Ballard's work. Some theater chains have even refused to show the docu-film Hidden War, set to release on November 14th, due to the refusal of people inside the church to retract its lie. Children remain in the crosshairs of these lies and these conspiracies. We ask all people and theater chains everywhere to read the court documents and a letter sent to church officials in March of this year pleading for relief so the truth might be known and children will no longer suffer under this conspiracy. This material can be accessed via the link in the bio at Tim Ballard 89. Ballard's team will now immediately be broadcasting a short docuseries to clear the way for their rescue missions. It's called Backfire, the excommunication of Tim Ballard. Now,
Backfire.
like I said, this is going far and wide. You have a choice, okay? You can continue to think that I'm attacking something you love, when in fact, I really am attacking something you hate, okay?
Thanks for that, Tim.
You know how when people watch like a cop video where they have to shoot someone, like half the comments are like, why did he have to shoot him so many times? And why is he telling him to drop the knife even after he's on the ground and shit like that? But like they clearly don't understand that that's you empty the mag pretty much. Yeah. You stop the threat. And they haven't seen all the videos where the dude on the ground with the knife gets up again and tries to stab him or whatever. Maybe that's what this Tim Ballard thing is. Like maybe me sitting off to the side, be like, why did she have to finger your butt while you were saving children? Maybe I sound that ignorant to someone as professional as himself.
This is Neil McDonough. I think he looks like this actor. Something interesting about this actor, I just know offhand, is that he's like a hardcore Catholic and he won't kiss other women when he's doing acting roles.
I know. I find that I find it badass. I do find it a little weird because you did get into acting, right? Like you kind of knew that you were gonna. But he tells a story of I can't remember what movie it was. It was some movie that was really big, and he was in it, and they demanded kind of last minute that he do a sex scene, and he refused. And they're like, "If you refuse, you're fired." And he's like, "I'm fired." Then I'm like, it gets a little silly. I understand not wanting to kiss anyone other than your wife. You did go into a business where you're going to have to kiss women, sometimes men, I don't know. But like,
nowadays they have to have like
you for sticking to your guns. That is pretty badass that you'll miss out on money to not make out with another woman.
Nowadays they have those intimacy coordinators.
Yeah. And imagine doing that, like having to wrangle disgusting Hollywood degenerates. Be like, so when you guys are doing this, you got to be professional and don't actually put your dick inside her because she won't like that. Oh, okay. Let me just, she won't like that. Okay. Do not slap her. Don't put your finger in her butt. None of that. Oh, okay. Wow.
Well, actually, it's in the script that I put my finger in her butt.
Okay. That has infiltrated something.
It's to save kids too. You always got to throw that in. Like, man,
we need to do
the line that could have worked in high school, man.
we need to do a Ryan Long style skit where we're an intimacy coach on a porn set.
It's like, you got to
All
ask
right.
permission.
You got to be
Is
careful when you're spitting in her mouth that you don't hit her right in the eye too hard.
Is it a branch of HR? Like I just assume
Yeah, it
they're in the
is.
same. It's like
And there's HR on those studios. I've read and listened to some complaint articles about HR destroying Hollywood studio movies and all that.
Holy
stuff.
shit, you should be an intimacy coach.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. I mean,
I remember a billion years ago when Adam Carolla was shooting a pilot, and he talked about like this was like 20 years ago, and so it was before we knew what woke was. But he talked about they had a meeting with a lady he called Cinco de Mayo Angelo, and she was the diversity lady.
Oh,
And
God.
yeah, no, man, I'm not. Geez, now I kind of want to dig up those podcasts because like it's like a time capsule, but like yeah, it was before we knew what woke was. But Adam Carolla was talking about woke Hollywood before the word woke was a word.
I don't think I could be an intimacy coordinator because if you look at it, it looks like you got to be a Karen and just stand there with your arms folded, and that would reduce boners. Like,
Yeah, it would. I always thought about that. It would feel so awkward if you're like an actor and you're filming it. Like if you're okay, Jared, this scene, you have to like make out with Keira Knightley and pretend you're having sex with her, but not actually have sex with her. And also don't get a boner. Like, I'm gonna get a boner. I'll try real hard not to make. I don't want her to think because if I'm trying to make it look like I'm having sex with her, it's gonna brush up against you. You just whisper when you're off camera. Just be like, I swear to God, I'm not trying. I'm trying to make this look real.
That's a real application for the boner taming drug. Like Redbeard. Chris knows Redbeard, but 20 years ago, he came up with this idea of like there should be a boner taming drug, and his name for the boner taming drug was Lipitor. And then I came up with the competing boner taming drug is Flacetol.
Oh, okay, hang on. This reminds me, we were at work the other day, and we were talking about women getting like work done on their faces and shit. And we started talking about Botox. I was like, oh man, imagine if women had nut sacks. It would be Botox, but specifically for your balls. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, I bet that really exists. And I looked it up. Tell me what you think it's called. It is real.
what's it say? Say what it did again?
Botox for your nut sack. What do you think it'd be called?
Baltox.
Yeah, I guess something like that.
Scrotox. And so obviously I had to look up like before and after pictures because I'm picturing like a stack that's just totally smooth, just like a round smooth surface. No, it's like not very noticeable.
It's a grapefruit. So wait, that's a thing people do?
Apparently, I don't know how popular it is. I've never heard of it before, but
Hey,
I'm like, can you make your nutsack look less unsightly? No,
There you go. And say, I identify as somebody with this cow nutsack from the milking book, and the way it's described in the book, that's how I want my nutsack to look, please. This is how Tim Ballard's wife looked standing in the corner during the couple's movie. That is something that would neutralize your wankability forever.
You love, and you can continue to hate. You can continue to send defamation to places like Cinemark. Just know that we will, and the authorities will be sending subpoenas to Cinemark and to everybody in the media that you're sending stuff to, and we will expose you.
Did you hear that? It's like any criticism we're coming after you is basically what he's trying to say there very nicely. Listen to that again. Listen.
Now, like I said, this is going far and wide. You have a choice, okay? You can continue to think that I'm attacking something you love, when in fact I really am attacking something you hate, okay? That has infiltrated something you love. And you can continue to hate, you can continue to send defamation to places like Cinemark. Just know that we will, and the authorities will be sending subpoenas to Cinemark and to everybody in the media that you're sending stuff to, and we will expose you.
So anybody who says anything about anything I did, we're coming after you.
and determine whether you're part of this conspiracy or not. Now,
And you're maybe part of the conspiracy.
you can do
We might be part of it now.
what I hope you'll do and get Matthew 18 compliant and read all the supplemental material, the entire letter. All the information is now going to be revealed. Read it. It's written by an amazing.
Uh-oh, we lose Chris.
And I stand by it. I've sworn under oath.
Did it flinched?
Yeah, just for a little bit.
Yeah, it flinched on me too.
And I stand by it. I've sworn under oath to those things, and I will continue to swear under oath. And I hope that you will call the theaters, call Cinemark, call the theaters, and call Doug Anderson, who's the one who perpetuated this lie and continues to do so by being silent, and ask them to simply retract. We don't need an apology, just retract for the kids. This film
For the kids.
For the kid.
Retract. Hashtag retract for the kids.
is the tool that will rescue.
children.
And a little bit for the producers of the movie,
Yeah.
but mostly for the kids.
Hashtag retract. Let me see what I find here.
So wait, he's saying the church is going after him?
They said somebody in the church media refused to release the names of the people who were defaming him or something. I think, I don't know.
He says Doug Anderson for just joining on with Vice and giving them that stuff or whatever, who is, I guess, the PR guy of the church. I'm trying to hashtag retract here and see what's going on there.
Risto says Tim Ballard joining Candace in 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah.
There's not anybody using the hashtag retract stuff. It didn't pick up. Nobody cares.
Rescue those kids. If people don't see it, kids don't get rescued. The film isn't being shown places.
Sorry, kids, nobody cares.
Troy Levitt going,
I know.
"Not now live. It's Saturday night."
Because of the lie. You get it? So help us. Help the kids. Okay? Now the third option is to do nothing, to be neutral. Okay? That's a lot of you are going to want to do that. And I understand that. That's how I felt for almost a year. But just know that at this point, neutrality is not really an option.
Silence is violence, bitches.
Now I understand the threats. One individual, good brother from the High Council, went to this ecclesiastical leader and said, "You're doing wrong. You are violating policy." He said you're doing wrong. You are literally violating the scripture. There is a policy that righteously reflects the words of Jesus in section 102. But this person has a third policy, his own policy, under the title of Judge of Israel. It doesn't interpret anything like he says. It inverts it. In all cases, you are to have a counsel and witnesses. He says the opposite. You get no counsel or witnesses. That's an inversion, not an interpretation. That is, in fact, unrighteous dominion. Unrighteous dominion is penalized by amen to the priesthood in another section. Of course, this person can override that, I suppose, as well, like he thinks he can with everything to make himself feel good. But at the end of the day, it's not going to work. Okay? It's not of the Lord.
This is the final edit, man. When Tucker Carlson interviewing Tim Ballard.
Yeah.
That's probably coming up.
Starbase said Tim is a retrack.
And so neutrality is not really an option, but I have to say that when one good man stood up and fought for us, this same person that same night took his temple recommend away just for standing up for righteousness. Okay, so that tells you a lot. And then
Hashtag things that didn't happen.
the picture of Jesus fell off the wall in that moment. So I understand.
What the fuck? Wait.
He just fell off the wall?
Yeah, and we got a visual of it.
He took his temple recommend away, and immediately the picture of Jesus fell off the wall.
Let's watch that again.
Jesus fell off the wall in that moment. So I understand that if you come out and do this, you might be retaliated.
AI?
I don't
Did you
know.
that frame crumbled when it hit the
Yeah,
ground?
it broke.
It didn't
In that moment. So I understand that if you come out and do this,
It's got to be AI.
you might be retaliated against. Okay, but I still maintain that neutrality is not an option. And as you consider what you're going to do, I would ask you to consider these words from Dietrich Bonhoeffer about neutrality in a situation where children are literally getting beaten, bloodied by ISIS, by traffickers, as they use this lie. Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is
Well, you said it. Silence is violence. I mean, there it is.
to act. I love the kingdom, Catherine. I love.
Wait, how are we supposed to act? We should act.
I'm gonna send something to Cinemark and see if I get subpoenaed by Tim Ballard.
I don't know what the equivalent, like what the version of the bypass charity button is here, but I'm pushing it. Like, sorry,
bypass charity holds.
I'll send him something that just says, I don't know about these whole allegations and stuff, but I don't even play his movie because he's a fucking nerd.
We need to come up with a hashtag. Let Tim Ballard back in the church.
We love the scriptures. That hasn't changed at all. Okay, I want you to know that. What we are doing is defending Jesus and his kingdom, and we're defending his children.
How does he forget what he's gonna say so often? Like he pauses at the weirdest, and it's clear that he forgot it. We will send subpoenas to come after you.
Look at that. Is that a type of ratio that has more shares than it has? No, it's got more likes than that. I was looking at the comments versus the shares. Let's see here. Well, that was all completely exposed by Cara Burrell and her crack team of people.
Oh, thank God.
and since Tim's going to be joining Candace Owens, we got to see if it might actually be like a weird alliance of teams, because I think Exmo Candace here might be joining Candace Owens herself in her own little ways. But she's just onto a different big state.
Threat to America.
Deep
I talk
state.
about Mormonism and Tim Ballard for a living. Do you think that I think that they are the biggest threat to America? No, I don't. But I'll tell you what everyone misses about the connection between the greatest threat to America and Mormonism and Tim Ballard. If you don't like what you're seeing right now in this country and you have an enemy in your mind, if you're MAGA, you'll say it's liberals. If you're liberal, you'll say that it's MAGA and Trump. But it's actually a common enemy.
It's actually MAGA.
Against everyone who wants democracy. If that's you, whatever side you're on, there's a special interest group that has not your best interest at heart. It has its own. It's corporations, it's white nationalists and the evangelical right, it's dark MAGA tech bros, and it's other countries that are all vying for a slice of your being. So if you're watching this and you're not part of that special interest, they're against you and your ability to vote and your
Then they killed Charlie Kirk.
ability to have a voice in this country without, their special interest, money, and lobbying and influence burying it. Why do I talk about Tim Ballard and Mormonism? This country right now, what's happening is what happens when white nationalism, corporate greed, and for me, the religious delusions of a Rocky Mountain Bible fanfiction sex cult all share a brain. And until people stop worshiping heroes like Tim Ballard,
She's connected the dots, man. The dots are connected.
and start seeing the machine behind them, it's going to keep happening with different faces. But the same myth that has all just been propaganda feeding white.
Have you heard of the MOG?
The MOG?
The Mormon occupied government. we were talking about MOG slop earlier.
Oh, God.
Nationalist egos, and thus the white nationalist agenda to keep his special interest agenda stocked with dopamine for stupid, easy to manipulate people who will vote their rights and morality.
You're really convincing me there. Gosh, I mean, they had a boner to just get me to be stupid and vote for them
away. And the way that white nationalists are controlling our country right now, it's a machine that needs to be called out for its boner, for going to war to bring about the end of the fucking world, to usher in the Messiah. The bigger picture of why talking about Tim Ballard matters so much is special interest groups.
Yeah,
I told you. What was that, Jared?
No, I was just, hey, did she ever explain why she thinks Tyler Robinson is a patsy?
No, not that I know of yet. I don't devour all her stuff, but I've watched a lot of her Tim Ballard stuff. She has not gone into, and for what I know, Ex Mojo has not yet either. Dark MAGA Tech Bros sounds kind of cool. Little Domino, Tim Ballard gets X'd. Big Domino, Tim Ballard is hired by Candace Owens to kill Bridget McCone, who turns out to be a woman after all. Did she say called out for its boner? Yes, she did. She repeats boner multiple times, which is why I don't think she's cut out to be an intimacy coordinator. Although she's got the look.
She does have the look, yeah. But she also, she's a comedian. I don't know if you forgot about that.
That's right.
She's a comedian. So and comedians, they say boner a lot.
Think of this country as slipping out of the democracy that we once knew into a much stranger authoritarianism that is only able to stand up bolder than ever right now, fucking shit up on such a massive scale. Its boner pill it's made up of white Christian nationalism. That boner is only erect if it's got a
What's the name for that pill, Flip? You marketing genius, you the boner for white Christian nationalism.
Jeez. The Cracker Packer.
Fuentesitol.
story, though. It's no different than any other fantasy somebody might create to get erect or any other fantasy.
She's really running with this.
That a special interest group needs the public to buy into the marketing so that they have a public image, but private devastating actions. So good boy white savior myths are the stories that get authoritarian white nationalists hard, and Tim Ballard gave them a freaking coconut smasher. This man, Tim Ballard, he is...
It's still going. What's that?
I've been talking about oh, sorry, were you saying something?
I think like she is writing the Milking Farm. She's writing a version of Milking Farm. It's all about Christian white nationalists.
And you got to milk them to get out of the Christian nationalism.
You got to kill their boners so that they don't fuck up the world.
They need flacetol and what was the other one? Lipitor and flacetol. We've got the answers over here, Cara Burrell.
The story of
we will both keep Tim from inserting himself during the couple's ruse, and so it will be totally kosher. And we will keep the Christian white nationalists from taking over with all their secret combinations. We've got it. Flacetol and Lipitor.
Well, that has been used in the special interest of white nationalists on a large scale and also on a smaller scale. The subgroup of that white...
Well,
When did she go? Like,
technical, man.
She didn't used to be crazy, right? She was always dopey, but this is positively.
Do you know how many times I've asked that question this week of so many different people? Like, this didn't used to be nuts, did it?
Right. Oh, it's called Why I Won't Shut Up. Like, I won't be silenced. Was somebody trying to silence you?
White nationalist special interest group is the Mormon Church. So when the Mormon Church spit him
the Mormon Church is over at the what
out of their mouths at hyperspeed by denouncing his immoral actions, by leaving a banger of a statement that he was a skis and they didn't want anything to do with him anymore, that made everyone's head spin. Everyone's like, well, what actions? This must mean his actions were extremely terrible. Yes, all day. But the response from the church is a corporate response. Tim Ballard doesn't understand. Tim, you were a member of the church, and that meant something to you. But to them, you are a tool. They exploit you for good PR the same way you exploit brown and black children in poor countries for your good PR. Corporations don't send you away with a love letter. They log you out of every site that you had access to an hour ago. It's called getting axed for a reason. Tim was a useful tool that was discarded when his own religious extremism, i.e. the couple's ruse, which was the sexual abuse of women that he said was ordained by God, aka
How is that
Mormon
religious
apostle.
extremism? Like, how would the couple's ruse? Ask any bishop. Like, hey, I gotta fuck this chick to save a bunch of kids. Should I do it? He'll be like, well, can you save the kids without fucking her? Like, could you perhaps not have sex with a bunch of women and still save kids?
That sounds a bit ISIS-y there, Tim. Couples ruse to save kids. That's the same thing the Taliban does.
You did it and you got caught. You can do anything as long as you don't get caught. It's the same corporate logic that fuels special interest
Cara, you got just as lost halfway through this as Tim Ballard got halfway through his.
Okay.
It just needs the music behind it. We need to put Tim Ballard's music behind this one.
So she's trying to do the intersectionality thing where you take a bad thing and then you connect it to your pet projects like white nationalism or Christian nationalism and white supremacy and shit like that. And she's really not very good at it. I think she needs to read more retarded queer literature, more Kimberly Crenshaw, I guess, because she's not connecting them very well. She's just saying he wanted to fuck a bunch of women, which is obviously part of the white nationalist interest group.
You're only a Candace schizo level 7. That's
I know.
propaganda that is always
Socrates Random says if Tim Ballard was less of an egomaniac, he could have gotten Candace Owens to make his documentary for him and it had 1,000 times the reach and 10 times the quality for sure.
Oh yeah.
image first, propaganda first, marketing first, keep the brand afloat and cut off the bad PR that's bringing us down. So Tim and other white Christian men get axed sometimes when special interests say, you've left the lane that you're supposed to stay.
I'm really kind of sorting out how to make the world better. I was feeling doomer. I maybe more doomer than ever. The show's thumbnail's kind of doomery, but now I feel like I got like a path to figure this stuff out. Like she's painting it out so clearly, and what we got to do about it. That now I see a way forward.
And this is, what happens with white Christian nationalism to special interests and sometimes also foreign countries. Whatever one comes to mind. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, foreign countries. Throw that in. That's also part of it.
Which one are you talking about? I'm not
I didn't
sure.
think of the foreign countries.
That really like finishes the circle.
They're their own special interest. And no, they don't write love letters when you've stepped out of your lane, when you're their propagandist. You ever spoken back to your boss? I did once, and there was a whole HR board meeting over it. Imagine how billions of
Don't bring John DeLynn into this. Come on. He's not part of it. He's not part of it.
I don't know. He's white. He's 1/3 of it. I don't know. We don't know if he's a nationalist, and he's not officially not a Christian.
Is
Well,
John
plus, we
DeLynn
also-
part of it?
We also know that he's politically neutral, and neutrality is not an option.
John
Yeah.
DeLynn's part of it. He's part of it. Oh my gosh, it's all coming together. Ugh. Just asking questions.
dollars circling special interest groups feel when their employees go rogue. I talk about Tim Ballard and Mormonism because it is all part of the ingredients that make up this country's boner pill that engages its erection of assault we're seeing right now. What do you think is
You could
This
make
is the best comedy she's ever done. Like it's almost perfect satire. It's just the part where she's sincere that makes it not comedy.
You could have made a funny metaphor out of that, but she just says boner and erection a bunch. Like that's it.
She started out the video telling all of us that we could all, left, right, or center, get behind what she's talking about because she's got the answers. And the final line of it is Tim Ballard and Mormon Church's boner pill for America.
Could I possibly be? Could I be a conservative and not a white nationalist? I would love for her to answer that question.
I don't think so.
No, you could barely be white and not be a white nationalist to that crowd.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Candace Owens, she has moved on.
Is that music gonna get
Who knows?
From Israel.
and moved from the government? She moved on from Israel. She moved on from the Looney Tunes. Bugs Bunny jumping. Ugh, I can't do it.
The hatches underneath Charlie Kirk. She has moved on from the multiple angles. She
I'm just gonna pause it just in case that music's in.
has moved on from it all and has now declared war and set her sights on none other than MOG. What a great acronym. What does it stand for? The Mormon Occupied Government. Or in my case, what I tweeted out, the Mormon Occupied Movement. The movement obviously represented in this.
One of the things about all of Candace's stuff is it is totally true that she's just thrown like 50 different things at the wall, and now she's way down the road on another thing, and you got to stop and go like, but what about all the other things, man? Like what? Like you got to go back to the other things you claimed.
Yeah, there's gonna be some crazy thing that's actually true. Like
Yeah,
she's gonna start blaming the Amish or some shit, and it turns out the Amish actually do secretly shadow run the government, and they'll be like, "Fuck, how did she know? She's so smart."
it really is like. I mean, maybe that's how Alex Jones always pulled it off back in the day. Is just throw all the spaghetti at the wall.
It's like playing a game of secret Hitler and accusing literally everyone of being Hitler, and then being like, "Man, see how smart I was? I got it."
Yeah.
Bet every number on the roulette wheel.
Anyway, I'm worried about that music for these stupid TikTok videos.
So did she actually
by
say
TP
Mog?
Yeah, something like that. I think she did.
USA, because Candace Owens now is setting her sights and crosshairs directly on Tyler Boyer, who is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and one of the
He's not. She's already moved on from him. It's to some McCoy dude now. But
Oh, I remember
people
that.
leading the Turning Point USA organization now. And he said, or she said,
anyway, Those are wow.
Candace Owens. Wow.
Yeah. Candace, most of her shows, she doesn't say anything the whole entire show. I've been watching all of them, and it seriously, like, between Ballard, Candace, there's enough going on crazy in the country, but like, you listen through to these people talk about stuff like this, and you feel schizophrenic at the end of it. But
with Candace, you just gotta listen to her shorts. If you want to be involved in her craziness, her shorts. Well, or you do what I do. You get in a group chat with Chris, because I fucking gave up on trying to listen to Candace. I like to hate watch shit and hear crazy people say crazy things. I can't do Candace anymore. I just can't. And I guess your autism is more powerful than mine, and it makes you power through all this shit. So I just get the spark notes from you.
yeah, and I really can. Like, if you listen to her show every single day, it's seriously about 3 sentences of information each time.
I know.
And the last 2 days, it was her just talking about how they didn't set up security properly for him, which maybe, but she's going like on a whole thing about how they used to do it and how they used to do this place. And then somebody, Allie Beth Stuckey, came out and said, nuh-uh. And I've been on Taylor Swift's tours and they don't do it like that. And then she did the whole thing today. Yes, they do too. They do it on this and this and this. And that's the whole show for the day. But what are you going to, then she found some stuff that it turns out 11 people in Utah County had Jewish cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's got to tell us about that. Tell us. Why aren't you telling us? Why aren't you telling us who
what do you mean?
Jewish cell phones?
What is a Jewish cell phone? Like
it was opened in Israel.
Oh, you mean there were people from Israel at the Turning Point USA event for the guy who like loves Israel? I don't understand.
There were 10 whole Jews in Utah on one day. That's impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, Risto's right. They were pagers.
Oh, they exploded.
They had the new iPhone, but and then they followed,
phone.
There was some plane that flew directly to Egypt that day, and then they followed around that plane for a couple months, and it seemed to be kind of near where Charlie Kirk was on some days. Anyway, why is Kash Patel lying about this stuff? Why isn't Kash Patel calling Candace up every day and keeping her informed on every little development?
Oh, dude, I know. I watched a short of hers today where she's talking about she wanted to get the footage that was taken from the back angle, and she's like, I was wondering, why did he take it? Why did he take that footage? It was just weird. I'm not saying anything. It's just weird. So I got into contact with him, and can you surmise what he might have said? Can you think of maybe a reason he might have taken that footage?
Why?
Well, he told her, is what he told her. Oh, I figured the authorities would want it. So I grabbed it and gave it to them. And she's like, oh, you trust the feds with that? Okay. Give it to me instead so I can see it. And God, it was retarded. She wanted to, but the guy actually showed it to her. Like they did a FaceTime and showed it to her.
You need to show it to everybody now. But of course, he didn't say anything. Like I saw for sure that there was a bullet coming to the back of his head from that one. But she's already gotten off like the angles of the bullets and the stuff. She's gotten off of Phil Lyman. She's gotten off the supposed extra friends that were running around with Phil Lyman. Like, where's all that? She's gotten off the group of people who owned Jewish Israeli stuff on the street next to it and owned houses next to it. Some sort of steel company, Steel Family, Stele. She's gotten off of that. I mean, she's thrown so much spaghetti at the wall, but they ignore standard of procedure for a murder trial. Anyway, that's what's up with Schizo World. Want to move off from Schizo World into Mamdani and Fuentes? Or do you want to talk Gooners? What's that?
As soon as she talked about how, like, why would he, after his friend was murdered, why would he grab that footage? As soon as she said that, I was like, well, probably to give it to the cops. Like, that's what I would do. If I'm not in the car with him, I'm going to be sitting there like, oh, shit, what do I do? I want to help. There's nothing I can do. If I go there and try to help at the hospital or whatever, I'm just going to be in the way. He's got people on that. What can I do? Oh, we have a camera. I'm going to go get the footage, make sure doesn't get damaged in the scuffle or anything. It's so obvious. As soon as she said that, I'm like, he's just going to tell you, he's going to give it to the cops. And he did.
You see the Risto She doesn't realize yet the Mormons are Jews.
That's true.
We're trying to eat
He
from
could let
over
that
here.
into them and let that into the whole group and just bust this whole thing wide open.
I
Risa
am
has
a
the
member
key.
of the tribe Manasseh, and I am very Jewish now.
Risto has the key that connects it all.
Grilled the
The
second.
ring that binds them.
Oh man, that caught me off guard. Holy shit.
Yeah, you got to come back to the neocons because do you remember who Darth Vader was 15 years ago? Like, who was the Peter Thiel that was going to kill everybody, and the Palantir, and the Donald Trump, the mega Hitler Donald Trump? Well, just this week, nobody noticed that old Hitler died,
Oh yeah, old Hitler's dead.
and nobody even cared. That's what I wonder is, like, in 15 years from now, are they going to be so on to the next Hitler that when Donald Trump dies, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember Donald Trump. Okay, you kind of dick.
I don't know. He made more of an impact than Cheney. I don't think we're gonna stop hearing about Donald Trump for like 30 fucking years. Maybe that's just me not thinking it's possible to live in a different world than I live in now.
Like, I mean,
We did hear about Dick Cheney that much back then, though.
oh yeah, for sure. No,
You think
he was. You're
as
right.
much
He
as-
was the Hitler.
As much as Donald Trump, granted, I was pretty young.
Yes, Dick Cheney
So-
was everywhere. All over
Halliburton. Halliburton.
Dick Cheney was the devil. Darth
They made
Vader.
that whole movie about him.
Yeah, the Michael, what's his ass, dumpy dude.
Yeah.
What's that called? Why can't I even remember that? That was the biggest movie in the world that year.
I don't remember what it's called.
They
Is it
should've
called
just-
Dick Cheney is the dickhead. That was
It
the
should have
working
just
title.
called it Dick. That's what. Like, why wouldn't pass up on that?
Why can't I even remember his name? Michael.
Michael
why-
Rappaport.
what's he-
Michael Scott.
No, the documentary fat dude.
I know. I'm just kidding. Oh, Michael Moore.
Michael Moore.
Oh yeah.
Michael.
Vice. That was the movie.
Oh, that's the movie with Christian Bale playing him.
Oh
Which
yeah.
I never saw it. Which my friend was like, "You want to go see it?" I'm like, "I don't really want to go see it." He's like, "Why don't you want to see it?" And I was like, "Do you want to go watch a movie about Hillary Clinton that was written by Dinesh D'Souza?"
they really, I don't know, they really swallow that thing. I was talking about the whole Iraq war thing. And, like, one of the lefty guys at work was asking me, I don't get the Trump thing. I don't understand that. Like, well, he was a dick to people who deserve to be dicks to or whatever. And sometimes it's over the top. Sometimes it's not even true. But, like, I don't know, in the Republican debate when Jeb was trying to accuse him of something, and he just fired back, your brother lied us into a war. And like, that's a big deal to a lot of people who were very disillusioned with the Republican Party. And he's like, yeah, but it wasn't even him. It was Dick Cheney that was pulling all the strings. And I was like, you really bought all of that? You really think Bush is as retarded as they tried to portray him?
But also, just like to throw
It's
your brother.
Fahrenheit 9/11. Fahrenheit 9/11.
That's right. That's the Michael Moore movie.
That really kicked off like the hate for Bush and Cheney.
That guy was Michael Moore.
Why isn't he around so much these days?
I think he predicted Trump would win in 2016, which was the
Yeah,
last time I
10 years
heard.
ago.
Yeah, and then I heard from him just a little bit during this last election, and he said Kamala would sweep.
Socrates Random says, remember when Kamala was putting all her hopes in Liz Cheney? Fahrenheit 9/11. Mitchell told us.
That's gotta show you how dumb Kamala is. I felt like, honestly, if I'm Kamala Harris, Liz Cheney calls me up and is like, I'd like to give you my endorsement. It's a big deal because I'm a Republican. I'd be like, oh, thanks. Let's count this as your endorsement. Okay, let's not go. And Kamala's like, awesome, we'll go on tour. I got a Republican with me now. Liz Cheney.
Yeah, Liz Cheney.
Oh, the Trumpers are gonna. She thought she had a fucking slam dunk with that. Oh, these Trumpers are gonna be. What the heck? Our hero Liz Cheney endorsed Kamala. Maybe we should rethink this.
Do you see that she was on 60 Minutes Australia just this week, and they asked her, like, what did you think about President Biden not really being with it? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
I do not know what you're talking about.
Her tour right now.
I believe he was 100% capable of being president. So
Just
then
not
why
running.
did you become the candidate?
No, she said.
What?
She said there's a distinction to be made between being the president and running for president. Okay. And it was seriously, she said that he was capable of being president, but probably not capable of running for president. And people are like, well, don't you think in order to be president, you should be capable of running to be president? Because you have to do that before you can be president. And so it's just different. And
Well, no, that makes sense because, like, the professional world is filled with women who are very good at getting jobs. They're very good at applying. They're very good at resumes. They're very good at dressing for interviews. They're very good at all the parts that get you into the job, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Like, if we were really facing Hitler these past 10 years, we've been facing Hitler, and what we presented to fight Hitler was Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris.
Oh, jeez. All right, I gotta bail because I was gonna bail.
Oh, you don't want to talk about Mamdani?
I do, but I don't.
Leslie said I can pass pre-algebra. I just can't pass, or I can pass algebra. I just can't pass pre-algebra.
That's a good one. Anything? It's just going to be all Fuentes and Mamdani. Although I do have an article on the Goon Squad and that having a boyfriend is embarrassing now.
Oh, that is good stuff. But no, I gotta bail.
You don't want to talk about that stuff.
I want to
We
talk
can't
about
convince you
into other stuff. No, I
Okay.
gotta be responsible. I gotta have sponsibles. But and in 2 weeks, I have a gig, so I can't do that Thursday in 2 weeks. I'm telling you,
Is that almost Thanksgiving anyway?
it's a week before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is in 3 weeks.
Well, submit a leave request from our HR lady, and she'll get back to you.
But our HR lady is Cara Burrell.
You'll have to go get a leave of absence and a proof of
How many hours of paid leave do you have saved up right now? If you don't have that, then you can't take it.
For this?
It's use it or lose it, and you just lost it.
Oh, gee, fuck. I guess I have to work Thanksgiving.
You can miss that day, and then we'll take Thanksgiving off, and you cover the whole night.
All right. Okay.
I would like to see a forced 3 hours of Flip just alone and just see what comes out. Like Flip's just up there alone talking.
That would be a trip.
You'd start out being like, I don't know what's going on, and by the end of it, everybody's like, whoa. Everything Kara promised to tell us, Flip actually told us.
Well, you know what I tried to do, and but I couldn't fucking find it. In fact, I've had this idea for years that I wanted to do as a surprise episode. Was actually get your fucking master's thesis from the U of U library.
Oh god!
But I can't fucking find it.
Yeah, it's in a Confutati thing. It's called like Confutati. What do they call those? Like journal. It's like a Confutati journal is what it's called.
If
you try looking at it.
I tried looking up on the.
I'll dig it up. I'll dig it up one of these times, and then
and then we'll
do your 3-hour thing on that. So, it was on Don Juan de Marco. Anyway.
Alrighty, I'm bailing.
All right. Later.
Charles said it would just be a long rant about NPR comments section and
radio. Mamdani, welcome to your politics in a diverse, low-trust society where you expecting something different. I got that painting of Ophelia at the bottom, and I put the fate of oikophilia, which is a Taylor Swift reference. I wanted to see if anybody got my Taylor Swift reference. Her new hit song is called The Fate of Ophelia. But oikophilia is just the love of your own country. And that whole election yesterday, I don't know, everybody's maybe people are making too much of it, but maybe I am, but I feel doomery. I feel doomery about how everything is.
So there's one problem that I have is that I'm pretty sure Kathy Hochul already said, yeah, I'm not going to let him do the free bus thing. That's way too much in taxes and people are threatening to leave. So there's that, but
that's what'll happen. I mean, that's the spiral of it is first he'll do some stuff. It'll chase some people off. they'll vote for him again, and he'll say, "I got blocked by this and that, and so I need to go."
I know,
up
that's
to
the
next
thing.
level, and so people will vote harder for it to do more of it.
I know.
But I'm not just dooming about Zoran Mamdani. If it was just that, but I mean, it does seem to be something that's shooting a certain trajectory. I can't talk right now, but were you saying something else with that?
No,
Do you know who that is?
that's his wife.
Yes, it is. Doesn't look very, very Muslim there. I mean, I don't know if she even is.
Oh, he's
But-
probably a full-on atheist, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, he definitely has. So he and his dad were both real deal believers of post-colonial theory, and that's actually where you, I, and Jonathan got stopped and hung up on the critical theory book, the
social
cynical
injustice.
theory. Yeah, that was the next one we were going to do, which we never did, which might be worth doing now, just to go over like what exactly post-colonial theory is, because this dude's an actual graduate of post-colonial theory. But said pretty simply, is it's basically just Foucault turned into Islam, and then it also gets borrowed by other colonized civilizations. But it was all originally done by Edward Said, who was I think he's Iranian, but it was all straight about Islam and Orientalism, as he'd call it, and that sort of stuff. But one of the things that he does say is it's almost kind of just like Marxism. They call it like a survivor class. There's a survivor class, and then there's the oppressor class, the colonialist class. And he and his dad are 100% believers of this, and 100% readers and believers of Fanon, who I brought up before here, Wretched of the Earth, who just basically say that there needs to be like a violent takeover stuff, although I guess he did this through the democracy. But whether he believes all that stuff or not, or how much he can do or not, I mean, I know he's just a bit of a cornball too, but it's not even really him that I'm dooming about. I mean, I guess it's everything together. Since when did the trans progressive movement turn into a communist Islam loving movement, or did I miss something?
Yeah, I saw that, and then I just was like, it always has been.
Yeah, you've missed something for 15 years now. But I mean, yeah, they're just aligned until they beat, and then of course, if Islam took over, they would throw that all off a building.
Yeah, this poor guy here just wanted to bum other dudes, and didn't realize he was joining a cult. Like, can I bum other dudes without joining this? No.
Yeah, they're not going to be friends forever. Although there was that clip, I don't know if you saw it, like in Great Britain, where they were like marching around for Islam, and some leftists were standing there like, "We're with you," and they're like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not with us." They didn't want anything to do with them, the Islamists. But let me see if I can find this here. Watch this. I can't find it fast. An Islamist checking out the trans alliance that he has going on with him. I've got a video of that. Here we go.
We will all be free, inshallah.
تحررت بعرض وين فين شو بعرض اختي شو بسطع قص اختي فستاني نعم زنبور اختك.
I don't even know what that dude is saying.
It's something about like you're gonna be difficult to throw off of a roof, but we'll figure it out.
Well, he does have a cane, so it might be hard for him to even get up to the roof, then get tossed off. You sent this one about capitalism. I mean, this is kind of like the trajectory of how that stuff goes, and a lot of people are kind of pointing out that like Zambia or South Africa, places like that, they just start voting this stuff in, and they start having the voting block to do it. It only spirals one direction.
Well, Zambia would be a paradise if we didn't fuck it so much. That was actually our fault that Zambia is so fucked, because do you know what we did to them?
What?
You know, okay, this was a Trump thing. Trump cut off HIV medication for Zambian hookers and truckers.
Oh my gosh.
We fucked them hard. Like, we're not.
So I thought you were talking about the time back when they voted themselves into a socialist country, back when it turned to Zimbabwe and all that stuff. We know you're talking about the time we cut off U.S. aid from them.
Yeah, and we fucked them bad.
That was really mean for us to do that. I guess we broke it. But Socrates Random says, but NYC run groceries insanely stupid. Yeah, let's just create another city organization with 4 times the inefficiency of the private sector to drain New York City pension systems more. It's I don't know how much power he has to actually do that sort of stuff, but he's gonna fail. They'll blame the failure on that. They'll double vote in. But I think some of the demographics of this whole thing, which we're going to get into, are part of the doomerism of it.
What's our debt and what's our GDP? Like, I'm just thinking about this.
Our debt's like 30-something trillion.
30-something trillion? Yeah. Okay. Let's. I want to look it up real quick. I want to look up what our GDP is.
I'm looking up debt. U.S. debt is 38 trillion.
Okay.
That's shabby.
Okay. Our GDP is 29 million or 29 trillion. Trillion. Yeah, million. Holy shit. We suck. I'm just looking at this, and I'm like, okay, what if we just cut a shit ton of stuff and say, we're cutting this for 2 years, and that's it. Everybody hunker down. We'll keep defense. We'll keep police, but it's going to suck. We're just going to cut like all entitlements just for 2 years, and we're going to throw all that money at the debt. I don't know. I feel like this debt is not. People do not view it as an existential crisis.
It is, and it's. I don't know when it's all going to implode. We're getting really close to not being able to cover just the
interest.
The interest on it.
It's fucking nuts.
And that's when it will be trouble. It's trouble with a capital T. That's time with a T. That stands for trouble. Zoran says himself, when Governor Cuomo refuses to tax the rich, he's refusing to let workers enjoy the wealth they created. When he says low taxes foster a business-friendly environment, he means an environment where it's easy for bosses to steal the workers. Taxation isn't theft. Capitalism is. There's all this stuff where people are trying to say he's not like a full-on commie. He's just a democratic socialist in America. But, I mean, like, there's much of a difference at all.
He quotes fucking Marx.
Yeah.
He quotes Marx. And I mean, there's that video of him talking about their end goal of seizing the means of production. He's like Marx, but gay.
Everybody says, or we could just print more money. Well, that never causes any inflation.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. God, I'm an idiot.
I guess we should listen to Hassan Piker.
This guy ran as a socialist and anti-communism didn't work to stop him. That's big.
Yeah, I think we are in the heart of the imperial core. This is the country that defeated
the guy who helped him run, who said America deserved 9/11, now 25 years later.
USSR, unfortunately. And the reality of the matter is, there's a lot of antagonism. There's no class consciousness in the United States of America. It's one of the things I try to address every day with my commentary. And I will say this. The conditions have deteriorated so much that everyday Americans, in spite of their lack of class consciousness, are finally arriving at the conclusion that perhaps there is an alternative out there. There is an alternative that focuses on them as opposed to the interests of the billionaires and the millionaires, as opposed to the interests of the capital owners. And
he's trying to do the politician.
You can't help but notice.
He's trying to sound like a politician. He is so dumb. What do you mean there's no class consciousness in America? There's fucking only been class consciousness in America for like the last goddamn 10 years because of retards like you.
Want to see a musical?
I put you as the rule of my stream. One press of this button and you're back in the scene.
Hassan, that's cruel. Can't you see what you've done?
She left her spot, she disobeyed, and I'm the one in charge.
No more shopping.
Stay where I put you as the rule of my
stream.
Hassan Piker. This was from a think tank that he's a part of. It's called Emerge DSA. Where you want to read what that one says? This is directly tied with his.
Yeah, the Abolitionist Horizon Zine. We seek the total abolition of the carceral state, making no allowance for any of its arms, legal enforcement, legislative, corporate, security, or surveillance. Security? Okay. In calling for its abolition, we demand head-on confrontation with the ideology that justifies it and conceals its true function, a machine of domination and political violence developed by the capitalist class. Incarceration and the police, historical and material extensions of slavery that disproportionately target Black and brown people, are both products and tools of the capitalist state. In our struggle to defeat capitalism, we must fight for their abolition within New York City and for a world where such forms of domination are no longer.
Yay. I mean, we don't have to prove the point to anyone here. So it was 80% of young women voted for him. And there's these people in the cut says, I accept the Mazoran Mamdani rose. So I guess they're attracted to him too. The Gooner gals. I mean, I guess they're into, cow milk and Hassan Piker and this guy. Young women 18 to 29 were his strongest group of supporters. Young women, liberal white women. I'm voting for diversity. First Muslim mayor, Sharia law. Where's the burqa? First Muslim mayor. One of the funnier things that Tucker Carlson said this week, we're going to get all that, but he said, white liberal women ruin everything, like Lindsey Graham. That's why we need to get rid of Lindsey Graham.
Despite what gets spun, Sharia law isn't this evil misogynist. What the fuck? Okay. Sharia law isn't this evil misogynistic medieval system that oppresses women. In its full ethical understanding, Sharia law upholds social justice. Isn't Sharia just the word for law?
Yeah.
It always feels so redundant anyway. Upholds social justice, human rights, equality, gender. What the fuck are you talking about? Is this fake?
It's real.
Equality, gender equity, and robust crime deterrence in many.
I believe some of the crime deterrence stuff. Like, we'll believe that.
Sure,
that's the stuff
yeah.
Tucker gets a boner for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you cut somebody's hand off every time they steal, sure, but like you're gonna be perceived as racist if you start doing that.
They're gonna say, "Well, Dubai, Dubai is just such a great place. I mean, God, it's so nice and clean there."
In many elements, Sharia would be far more effective than current civil law. You know what would happen if we had Sharia? Like, if we just had it. Just give it to us for a year. We'll do just part of it. Like if you steal, we cut your hand off. And then you want to know what stat's going to get spouted by the wokies. They're going to start calling this, it's not going to be brown supremacists because they still hate white. So they'll call it white supremacy. Like this is the brown face of white supremacy because despite being 13% of the population, 50% of Black men have their hands cut off. Right now. So you guys, your Sharia is disproportionately affecting Black men.
That'll be great for critical race theory. Critical race theory comes from Sharia law.
Who the fuck is this retard?
Like how Sargon comments down at the bottom.
Crazy how Sharia just happened to be woke liberalism. Yeah. Who is this idiot? Oh my god, I gotta look her up.
Who would again?
I want to see what her name is real quick so I can look her up.
Bushra Shaikh.
Okay. I'm gonna look her up.
Some Midwest American. Yeah, this is some of the exit polling stuff. Is that almost all the votes Mamdani got came just in the last 5 years to New York City, and it's like a slope just all the way down. And people who are lifetimers who've lived in New York forever, they voted the opposite direction, not for him. But it just kind of shows, like, yeah, you imported a takeover.
Harambe boys in New York City. Oh fuck! I didn't know that. I'm sorry, buddy. Pour this one out for you. Holy shit!
Hey, free buses. Buses.
Lauren Ingram says Mamdani had the support of 62% of the foreign-born vote in New York City. Does that surprise you? It does a little bit. I'm surprised that it was that low. I'm Islami. Well, I mean, the thing that surprises me is a lot of the people who come, whether they're Latino background, you would think about people even from Muslim to Jewish to Hindu backgrounds should, in theory, according to their own religious values, be conservatives.
Should, in theory there.
Let's see. Logan Hall says, Wow, you mean forgiveness? Oh, sorry. Wow, you mean foreigners showed up here and immediately started supporting their own group interests and weren't interested in vague ideological appeals to free markets and the Constitution?
It's crazy. So I just thought this like right now, like Dinesh D'Souza was on here saying, he complained about the Fuentes Tucker thing, which I guess we'll talk about in a bit. But a very loud group on the right said Indians go home, and so many of them did, to the Democratic Party. And everybody's like, how is that like an argument? Like, wow, now that I know these foreign interests is willing to defect en masse to my enemies at a crucial moment, I'm so glad we brought them here. Are you really selling me on this, Dinesh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's funny. He just thinks it works. Like, look, we don't want any. We want less H-1B. And like, fine, I'll vote for the communist and fuck up this country. Like, oh, you're right. We want more of you.
It's because I do think like Indians could be pretty good allies, but not if they're exploiting like a system. Any people who are exploiting a system to come here are probably going to lean a certain direction. Obviously,
yeah. Just don't let them exploit the system. Like, there's tons of Indians that are great citizens and they mostly assimilate and just, I don't know, they'll do their own cultural things sometimes, and that's fine. Mexicans do it too.
But Indians are some of the people who get complained about the most about doing nepotistic hiring, especially like in Silicon Valley and banks and stuff like that.
The only people that are wrong for doing nepotistic or in-group hiring are white people. That's the thing. It's like, because people like, I don't know, the farther right guys will talk about how the Jews run Hollywood because a Jew will hire a Jew, and I'm like, they do. You're totally right about that. You're totally right. But everyone does that except white people, because white people are suicidal. We're the only group that don't have an in-group preference, and we probably have a little bit of one. We just pretend that we don't because it's bad. It's the wrong thing to do. Like, I remember seeing, you can see Canadians that become movie stars in America sticking together and bringing more Canadians in, Yeah. I'm trying to think of some right now, but I'm drawing a blank.
I don't know. I could see a world where some of those things of the Civil Rights Act are lessened, especially the affirmative action parts, and people do just kind of get their own enclaves of hiring nepotistically, or their own, some sort of thing like that. Maybe that would work in a libertarian world. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know.
It wouldn't work in a libertarian world.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Sargon is not wrong on all of his criticisms of liberalism. He thinks that liberalism leads to everything bad, but like he goes full retard on it. But I don't know.
There's contradictions. There's identity contradictions.
Yeah, for sure.
There's religious and identity contradictions. It's like liberalism works if you only import liberals.
I know, that's the thing. Well, and that's sort of thing, because that sort of blows his argument out of the water. Is that like there's nothing inside liberalism that I don't know, that says that you need to just let literally everybody in. Like, there's no part of liberalism says that. That's woke shit. Like, that's like white restorative guilt, So if liberalism coupled with this stupid shit is definitely self-destructive and suicidal, but you don't have to couple liberalism with that stupid shit. You can absolutely discriminate where you. I mean, I remember people getting all mad that Trump did the Muslim ban, which wasn't. I mean, it wasn't effectively a Muslim ban. He banned several people from different countries, and I'm like, you guys aren't at all concerned about which countries we're allowing people from. Like, I am definitely okay with having different amounts of immigrants from different places. Like, if we have I don't know, if we have a higher allotment for Japanese immigrants than we do for, like, I don't know, Iraqi immigrants, I'm going to be like, yeah, that actually makes sense. I'm fine with that. You can definitely be discriminatory against who you allow into your home. You'd be stupid not to. I always use that analogy of, okay, gun to your head, you got to let your kid be watched by a stranger. The only thing you know about the stranger is their sex. You choose a male or a female. You're going to be like, this is going to terrify me, but yeah, I'm going to choose a female. You are discriminating. You're absolutely discriminating. we all discriminate all the time. It's not bad to discriminate on its own. There's unfair ways that you can discriminate, though.
The hijra I brought up before, it's part of the Muslim religion. The angel, what is it? Islamic miniature depicting Jibril delivering to Muhammad a message from God telling him to undertake the hijra, which is part of the religion that they're supposed to go immigrate into other countries to take them over, create the voting blocks as part of their thing. But Mamdani, people say, "Well, geez, we're being religionist, racist against that stuff." If you go and study, we shouldn't have stopped at the post-colonial theory chapter in that book, because it's all coming up and coming around. But they absolutely have, as part of their whole idea, is to go recolonize the colonized, and that guy has a degree in that. But can't assume that that's his worldview or anything like that. That would be
nuts.
Is it bigoted?
Unless you caught him on hot mic admitting that this has been the plan since 2014.
Yeah, they did have a mic of him saying that, huh?
Yeah, Crowder got it.
Yeah, he has a bunch of stuff saying that, and it's just like, come on, dude. And then, right, the very first thing he does right when he wins is announce that this whole thing is for, all the minority people that he did it for.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a few groups he forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of any that he forgot to mention.
Well, he included the Jews. Wait, no, he didn't.
Yeah. He didn't include the Jews. You're right. I'm sure that was by mistake. I'm sure it was also an accident that he didn't mention white people. She's definitely very pro-white people.
I don't think we should have billionaires, Zoran Mamdani. And here he is, so proud to be a New Yorker. The American dream comes true with Alex Soros.
What the fuck?
Gerwander says, politics is the gentle art of getting votes from the poor and campaign funds from the rich by promising to protect each from the other. Yeah, what's kind of funny too is Soros was married to Clinton's old chief of staff, the one who used to be married to Anthony Weiner. What's her name? Hubadine, whatever. But I don't know. This guy lost, but
yeah, that guy looks terrifying.
But he also lost. Did you see that this mayor in Minneapolis? Hey, Risto, you dodged the Somali mayor, but the other guy gave his speech in Somali.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ!
Said "Long live Somali" in the Somalian language in his speeches, and
yeah, he had a bunch of. It's insane to me. You had a bunch of Republicans this week going, "Go Cuomo." Yeah. Oh God.
The thing is like, I was listening earlier tonight. Ian Carroll and Dave Smith and Clint Russell they all had a podcast. It was pretty good if you listen to them, because they all kind of just being together. They curbed off their extremes, if that makes any sorts of sense.
Wait, sorry, who? I wasn't.
Ian Carroll, Dave Smith, and Clint Russell. From Liberty Lockdown. But something they all said is like, we were all guys who 100% grew up in the liberal dreams and had Martin Luther King pound on our heads, and we were 100% those guys. And most people were growing up in our age because it was pounded in our heads and inculcated in us to think that way. And it's only been after like the past 10, 15 years of the hardcore identity politics. And then you start seeing the stuff that one of the arguments that people from the dissident right are making, and it probably holds true, is like Mamdani has those beliefs from cynical theories, critical theory type stuff. But really, honestly, like all the people voting, are they all critical theorists? No, like people are just going to vote in identity blocks. And that's what's proving to be the difficulty of liberalism. It's just panning out that people just vote by identity blocks. And that doesn't look great, like when it's all said and done on the table. If you really did see some people, I mean, I guess we did have like a lot of Cubans last time say, I'm not voting for that socialism or anything like that. But I don't know, if there's just better evidence that people thought for themselves and voted just out, didn't just vote in blocks, it would be an argument for it. But maybe that could happen if people were inculcated with it. Like it used to be like, you had to get in this country, you had to know all about the founding fathers. to get your citizenship, right? You had to pass tests and all that sorts of stuff and show that you understood the whole idea behind the Constitution and all that stuff. And now you just pass it out like EBT food.
Oh, don't make me. Okay. All right.
Our friend of the show, Anthony Miller.
Wrote, okay, this is actually pretty fucking short for him. This is like 2% of what he normally writes. So what is it? He asks, what needs to change systemically and personally so 12% of Americans don't have to be dependent on SNAP benefits for basic needs? Anthony Miller. Higher minimum wages, higher literacy rates, lower costs of housing, lower costs of healthcare, including dental and vision, higher compliance of child support payments, higher reproductive rights, contraceptive and abortion. Fuck off. Lower child care costs. Jesus Christ. Higher funding for Head Start.
This is the one time
you're taking the money that we were going to use on SNAP, and you're just giving it to them anyway. We're going to spend the exact same amount. We'll probably spend more. What are you talking about? He's like, hey, I want to save us money by getting we got 40 million people on SNAP. How do we get that? Well, we take that money when we're spending, and we take all of it and a little bit more. We're going to need a little bit more. We're going to put it over here. What are you talking about?
Those are one of the things that we needed you to be more long-winded, Anthony. How do you do every one of those things? How do you? I mean, I guess you can just vote in the higher minimum wages, which I guess solves the world.
You can vote it in, but is it?
Why don't we just make the minimum wage $70 an hour? Why not 71? Why not 72? Why not? 72?
What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Is the government going to subsidize the excess of higher minimum wages, or are we just going to let a lot of places that can't handle that cost go out of business? Is that what we're going to do? Higher literacy rates, I guess. Lower cost of housing. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
How do you do that?
How do you just pass a law saying you can't sell a house for what it's worth? There, done. Higher.
That's what they're doing. That's what Mamdani's going to do with the rent control, basically.
Higher compliance of child support payments. They garnish your fucking wages. What are you talking about? I'm sure there's guys that get out of it though. Higher reproductive rights, contraceptive, and abortion. Yeah, sure. Let's just kill the babies. If we kill more babies, we won't have babies to feed. Dumbass. Yeah, of course. Lower child care costs. Yeah, that's subsidies. We got to pay for that. We got to fucking pay for that, okay? Higher funding of what is Head Start? I recognize that from
remember
something.
Yeah, but Anthony fashions himself a libertarian too. I don't know if you knew that.
He keeps calling himself a libertarian. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about because you just asked for another $200 billion worth of tax dollars for this shit. Because that guy asked, how do we stop spending $100 billion a year on SNAP? Well, we spend $200 billion a year on this shit. Yeah, that's gonna help us out. Jesus Christ. Yeah, libertarian. Woo-hoo.
I mean, I guess that's all the answers for that stuff. We've answered the commie problem, but
Jesus Christ, I spurred out hard. How do we spend less money? Well, by spending more money. Great idea, pal.
Did you see
and vision?
Mamdani held Hitler here?
He wanted he wanted free healthcare, including vision. Just see things kind of blurry. I don't care. Holy shit.
Do you remember that exact movement right there was an entire week, maybe 2 week long news cycle?
Oh yeah,
from Elon Musk doing it.
I remember my lefty buddy at work acted like I was a fucking retard because he's going through these tweets. He's like, "Can you believe all these conservatives trying to say that Elon Musk didn't do the Sieg Heil?" And I was like, "He fucking didn't, dude. Really?" He looked at me like I was a fucking moron. He's like, "You really didn't think he did that?" No, I don't. I think he's a fucking spurg and he's weird. But no, I don't think he's a Nazi. He's like, okay, so if you found out tomorrow, irrefutable proof that Elon Musk was a Nazi, would you be shocked? I was like, of course I would. I'd also I fucking hate Joe Biden. I would be shocked to find out he's a legitimate Nazi. It's not even that I like Elon Musk. It's that he doesn't seem like a Nazi. I can show you a picture of him wearing a yarmulke and kissing the wall at Israel. And he's like, yeah, he does that to hide it. It's like, well, if he was hiding it, he wouldn't do a Sieg Heil in front of millions of people, you fucking tard.
But yeah, it was on good authority that nobody ever does either the heart thing or the wave thing. That's when he put the two together. That's when it all came together.
There's a lot of people I hate who, if I found out tomorrow they were a Nazi, I would be very shocked. AOC, yeah, definitely very shocked. I wouldn't be shocked to find out she's a full-on commie. Absolutely not. but a Nazi? Hell yeah, I'd be shocked because that's retarded. None of what she says has anything to do with Nazism. Same as Elon Musk. You can hate literally everything he says. You're hating him in the wrong way. He probably hates the Jews. He doesn't hate the Jews. He doesn't hate other races. He was mad at Trump for not doing more H-1B visas. He's the racist? You fucking dipshit.
Well, so now we get to the reaction, the backlash that comes from it all.
Up my phone and
this says her. So what are your friends like? Me.
If I pick up my phone and send out a tweet, if I say good morning, within minutes I will have hundreds of blatantly anti-Semitic responses.
Oh, man, I hate it that the racists are actually the funniest. They're the fucking funniest. They're the best memers. That doesn't mean they're right, but they are so much better at meming than anyone else.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess jumping off this, I'll go to Glenn Greenwald first.
Jesus fucking Christ.
What's
I'm just laughing at
city ride, race, fear mongering tool, but it's possible his morality will be him being very accommodating, more so than a lot of people think, to the power center he's supposed to oppose. Who knows? Maybe he won't be, but there's certainly a big expectation. But looking backward, there were definitely moments that were incredibly interesting for the moment that we're in. And I think none is more so than the moment in the primary that was held, the primary debate in the New York City Democratic primary, when you had Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo and 6 or 7 other more minor candidates who debated on television. And the question that was asked, and it was obviously intended to see what Mamdani was going to say, but it was asked of all the candidates, is if you were to win and become New York City's mayor, which country would you make as your first stop in a foreign visit? Now, I'm not even sure why mayors make visits to foreign countries. I suppose there are times when it's appropriate. Maybe they have exchanges between cities or partnerships or some kind of trade deals. I'm not saying it, I can never imagine it. But in general, foreign policy is run by Washington. Trade deals for states are run by governors. It's certainly not something that would ever be, in the absence of Zoran and the Israel question, on the minds of anybody. And yet, the Israel question is always on the minds these days of our elections and our media. And so they ask this question, and it's remarkable to compare how every person on that stage running to be the nominee of the Democratic Party for mayor answered the question, and how radically different the answer from Zoran was.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo.
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Why they all gotta
Mr.
sound like
Tilson,
fucking
where would you go?
cucks?
Yeah, I'd make my.
They all gotta sound like cucks. Like we came to this conclusion separately. I meant to text you about it last night, and then you texted about it this morning, talking about like, oddly enough, in this weird conservative split, the voice of reason is Steven Crowder. Like he seems to be the only one that kind of gets it right, and that's what I feel. The only answer to this "would you visit Israel" thing, the only answers are ever like, "Oh, me right here, Israel."
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I'm doing.
That's one answer. And then the other answer is always like, fuck Israel. They're committing a genocide. Blah, 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 blah. They're genocidal. They're an ethno-state. They're blah, 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 blah. They're far-right Nazi shit. And nobody ever answers. This is why Mamdani actually had a really good answer, because it's the answer I would have given. I would have been like,
it's what the answer they all should have given, really. Oh,
I know. Why would nobody give this answer? It's just I don't know. If I became the president somehow, I'm not gonna. Mostly because I don't want to, not because I couldn't. But if I became the president, and they were like, "Are you gonna go kiss the wall and wear a yarmulke?" I'm not gonna wear a fucking yarmulke. Like, why not? Because I'm not a Jew. What are you talking about? I'm not gonna wear garments because I don't believe Mormonism. Wait, I don't do that for anyone else. Just like, oh, do you hate the Jews? No, I don't hate the Jews. I'm fine with the Jews. Do you hate Israel? No, I don't hate Israel. I'm gonna stop sending them money because they're doing fine. They have a fucking surplus. They don't need any more money. We don't have fucking money to send anyone. I don't know why we're sending any money to anyone, but
the starkness of this is just real interesting just to hear it. Like New York, like what are you guys gonna? Every single one of them.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, 2 of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
No,
as a state with equal rights.
He won't
Not as
say
a
it
Jewish
has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very.
So they
how
want.
How are they so retarded?
They want them to say it has a right to exist as an ethno state.
No, he fucking nailed it. He absolutely nailed that question. I hate him. I hate everything he says, except that. That was right. He was totally right. He's acting just indifferent toward the Israel because what are you going to say to that? You're going to be like, I'm the fucking mayor of New York. I'm not a geopolitician.
Yeah, so the whole entire right's imploding so hard over this. Like there's an exact fissure right downside, and you can kind of stop and see it. There's like, why is the answer the only thing for everything on the conservative side of being like, what's happening with Israel? You know,
I know. Well, this is why you get Nick Fuentes. Yeah. This is why you get Zoran Mamdani, because like the mainstream politicians just constantly gargle the ball bag of Israel. That's all they do. They talk about how I can't tell. Like the times I've felt the most tempted to go full Nick Fuentes is times when I hear like Nikki Haley, America needs Israel more than Israel needs America. It's like, no, fuck you. Look, we're fine being buddies. They are our ally. That's fine. We can send stuff back. We can communicate with our technology. They're not going to attack us. Again, but they're not. This is why you get people going Nick Fuentes. I feel that pull every time some fag conservative just talks about just cocks to Israel so hard. Just be like, they're our buds. They're our pals. We like them. We like them way better than Palestine because, they have Hamas and they're terrible.
Why is there a question at the mayoral race and every single mayoral answer has to say, I'm going to Israel first thing after I get elected? Like, why is that part of the New York mayor race? And then
they're talking about he's this brilliant politician, and I guess he is compared to all those other people. How did not a single one of those guys think that was the right answer?
Yeah.
Israel. Why? What the fuck does that do for New York?
I mean, I guess there's a lot of Jewish voters in New York, but still, it's just so weird. Risto says I'd visit Fiji. I'd like to picture Risto on the stage, just kind of being like autistically unaware that there's some sort of a undertone and all that question going on. And be like, Fiji sounds nice.
That would be a Risto answer. Like,
and in the current environment, you'd get called anti-Semitic for that. But equal rights means that Israel doesn't exist. Yeah, well, that's one of the problems with the whole entire thing that's going on the conservative side is because if you listen to Christian nationalists or the white people like Nick Fuentes actually speaks glowingly of Israel. People don't realize.
Well,
he says, I want what they have. Yeah.
We need to do all that subversive Jew shit.
We need to do the subversion. We need to be able to say that we have a Jewish state that Mamdani or a white nationalist state. That if Mamdani gets questioned, like, do you believe that Fuentes has a right to a Catholic state? I think it should be a liberal state. No, he should have his right to a Catholic state. That's what Fuentes wants. Fuentes wants what they have. He's admiring of the way he says they stick together no matter where they're at or wherever they're going. People say he's anti-Semitic. I mean, I think he's dropped a bunch of stupid slogans and all that sorts of stuff. But there is a contradiction of why is Israel allowed to have that sort of identity. And a lot of people are kind of joking around of identity politics and the cynical theories that we were talking about. Almost every single one of those cynical theories talks about the oppressor white man and how terrible the white person is. That stuff is pumped down kids' throats in universities for 20 years and all that stuff. And then the second October 7th starts and there's a little bit of anti-Semitism, they take over those universities and everybody starts saying, but what about the stuff that's in the curriculum about how white people are terrible that was been there for 20 years and nobody, like, we had to scream and yell and freak out and nobody ever once cared about it. And it does get to be a contradiction. And the thing is like, it's the place where I get lost and going like, I don't know what to do either, or that sort of stuff, because do the Jews have a right to an ethno state? And if yes, and you're supposed to just be fully on with that, and that's liberalism, but then it's also liberalism to say Fuentes is not allowed to have a religious state. How are both liberalism? Like there's a contradiction there. And I don't know what I want to say on it, because I don't want Fuentes to have his own stinking state or something like that. But then the other flip end of that too is the Jews having their own state. People like call back to it and all those other sorts of religions and stuff like that. But if they're the ones pushing liberalism, maybe it should have liberalism. But if they do have straight liberalism, we all know for a fact with the Hijra, it'll be taken over in no time. It won't last, just like it didn't last in any other of those Middle Eastern countries they got chased out of. And so how do you solve this? How do you solve this? Maybe one of the ways they can solve it is like just saying, like, just admitting that, yeah, it's a contradiction. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't Shapiro just say, oh, yeah, it's a contradiction, sorry. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that would ameliorate it some, I don't know. Like, how does this get solved? Because it's really coming to a head right now. And then, of course, the New York Times jumps on it. So Tucker Carlson had him on, and he didn't give him a combative enough debate, although I don't think he was perfectly in line with him and stuff. And the whole entire right flipped its lid, and Shapiro came out with a thing of decrying Tucker Carlson this week. And Mark Levin, did you listen to Mark Levin's?
I heard clips. I didn't hear the whole thing. The Shapiro one was embarrassing. Like, I don't know. The thing is, there's a lot of things you can listen to Nick Fuentes say, and you can be like, he's serious about this, and it's abhorrent, right? But then there's a lot of things that are clearly jokes.
Yeah.
And Shapiro sprinkled both of them in his clips. You just delegitimize the actual things when you put in a joke.
Yeah, you put in jokes and stuff that was like based around, some of it I didn't even realize was based around Kanye releasing his album. So he's like making like jokes of like Kanye's song coming out, being, oh yeah, Kanye's song, Hitler, let's go.
He put the clip in there where he said, raise your right hand and say, I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes. And Ben Shapiro's like, he thinks that people should kill, rape, and die for him. Like, no, that was a fucking joke. Jesus, don't put that in there, you idiot. Sitch and Adam had I only watched the first part of their review of Tucker Carlson's thing. Sitch had a way better compilation of clips and was way better on taking down Fuentes than Shapiro was.
Well, a lot of people also pointed out that like Shapiro didn't even like give rebuttals to a lot of stuff he was saying. He just showed it.
No, he didn't.
Some people are like, oh, well, what's he saying? Well, I agree with him. That sort of stuff.
It also really fucks over a lot of your claims of people on the woke right, Shapiro, when you start using woke tactics to accuse literally everyone of anti-Semitism.
Yeah, and there was all sorts of weird stuff. Like there was clips of Candace in there, and the clips of Candace were before the Daily Wire hired her.
I know, you're like, you platformed her, and she's talking about how dinosaur bones don't exist. I'm like, look, out of all the dumb shit Candace believes, that is the least concerning thing to me.
Yeah, I can't find the video. Why can't I find the? And I just look it up on Twitter. It's like the main video. But some of the stuff, like he says, he thinks women shouldn't vote, and then of course a bunch of people are getting on that about, well, Mamdani shows that they shouldn't be voting or stuff like that. And then he says that things were better for black people under Jim Crow. And some people pointed out, well, if that's not true, you're just throwing away half of Thomas Sowell's career right there, because he was obviously that stuff he was leaning on Thomas Sowell when he's talking about it.
When saying blacks were better off under Jim Crow it's retarded, because they were doing better in a couple of ways, but that's like in spite of Jim Crow. It's like because of it.
It wasn't because of Jim Crow.
I think during Jim Crow they had a higher intact family rate than white people did.
It was because they didn't have invasive government here to help policies. Oh, that was one of the things Mamdani said. I had a clip of that where he said, there's no problem too big. Or too small that the government can't help you with.
Yeah, holy shit. I was just telling my friend on the way home that he said that. He's like, did he really say that? I was like, yeah, dude, if you were writing a conservative propaganda book and your villain said that, I'd tell you, it's a little on the nose, man. No one's really going to say that. It's like, you sound like a Disney villain. Dial it back a little bit, make it sound more subversive. Nope, never mind. I was wrong. He just flat out said it.
Yeah, Sorry's Close says Nick did say he admires Stalin, which is pretty fucking nuts. Yeah, I do not want to come on here in any sort of like apologetic way about Fuentes. Yeah. I think Fuentes is a dip fuck. But also one of the ways you deal with like current day internet trolls and this sorts of stuff isn't the way Shapiro and Levin are dealing with it. And you'd think they'd have learned it from just having some time on social media and stuff like that. And that also goes to say, like, the way we are nowadays, the way we are in the media, just like you've looked at some of the stuff Mamdani said and said Mamdani's right. Like, we're in an era now where there's just not that guy's the bad guy, that's like the good guy. It's what the person says, and does that one thing that they say there have merit? Does that thing there that they say not have merit? You know, you can listen to everything.
I think that what he said was correct. I don't think he believes what he said. I think in his head he probably hates Israel, and he probably, like, I'm sure he would visit some country, but that's the correct answer.
But what I'm saying, like, we should be in a world nowadays with the internet where you call balls and strikes. Like when people say nobody is just the bad guy, and no matter what they say, they're just the bad guy. Like that's what people sort of learned with Trump. You know, the left has made themselves idiots by chasing the white whale of Trump, and anything he says, they must have. Like I said, Trump should have. He endorsed Cuomo. If he wanted to tank Mamdani, he should have endorsed Mamdani.
I know.
and it would have tanked him. It would have worked in this environment, because they will literally say, because Trump said eat carrots, they won't eat carrots or something like that. they'll take Tylenol. They'll pound a whole thing of Tylenol because Trump said don't take Tylenol, and give themselves liver problems. But anybody in the current day era should not be so afraid of boogeyman talking points or whatever people are talking about anywhere that you can't don't even look at Fuentes. Don't look or you'll melt. And anybody around saying that about anybody just underestimates the intelligence of any person they come across. But Fuentes says some things that they have reason to answer it honestly and in good faith, even if he is a shitty troll. You know, he's made a big enough following for that. And of course, the New York Times is here to just pounce on all this and give the first flattering photo they've ever given of anybody on the right.
That was hilarious. When I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. That's one of the most badass pictures I've ever seen. And they took it. They didn't have a picture of him doing like, you know, like, what the hell? And it was funny because this dropped like right after in the group chat. You said something about there's this huge rift in the right, and the left they're retarded for not capitalizing it. And then like 10 minutes later, I saw this picture and I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, they're capitalizing some on it, but maybe not enough. But the rift on the right is big enough that I'm doomering that, like, all the super victories and all the stuff that you said, oh, maybe we'll even get better from here and go up and up and up. and even the right can start correcting itself in certain things, because you can start correcting yourself if you start getting big enough leads and stuff like that. But no, now I think that there's a, what was it called, Garcetti, there's this whole season The Wire where the whole thing about The Wire is the real trick to politics. Season 2 of The Wire is really good. It's a really good show, and it got into how the real trick of getting elected is splitting your opposition, and it really covered how that got done in Baltimore, a few ways in it.
Well,
and
it feels like one of the tricks of politics is there's got to be a certain number of correct things you can identify with a group of people who feels disaffected, and that's what Fuentes does with, like, especially on his tour. He is so tame right now on his new weird media tour that he's doing, and he says a couple of right things. He talks about young men being disaffected, all this, like white people not getting the same allowance for racial preference as other groups are, and shit. Like he's saying a couple right. I don't know how many you have to, but Mark Levin, I would do that with.
He
Mark
said on the Tucker show that he used to love and listen to Mark Levin, and Mark Levin was the one who radicalized him.
Oh, if anyone ever made me anti-Semitic, it would either be Mark Levin or Rabbi Shmuley.
If you want to be on Israel's side, you need Mark Levin to shut up.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Shut up. His ways and mannerisms just can't do anything but make you want to give the guy an atomic wedgie.
Well, I know Ben Shapiro is not stupid, and it's wild to me that a not stupid person wouldn't understand that what he's doing right now is hurting his own cause. And it's, I mean, Dan Ellsworth had that big post about telling people to stop watching Tucker Carlson, and I was like, "You're not stupid, Dan. How do you not see that this is hurting what you're saying?"
I made a comment on it disagreeing and just saying, like, the answer is Coleman Hughes.
Yes.
And Coleman Hughes he did not get hyperbolic. He didn't get into tossing out calling Dave Smith a bigot or anything. He took on the arguments and he came in prepared for the arguments.
Well, he actually said that at the beginning. He said that at the very beginning to Dave. He was like, I've seen debates with you, and I've noticed that they immediately jump into debating about you as a person rather than the debate itself. I want you to know I'm not going to do that. That's the debate. Like, not enough people saw that.
Coleman laid it down, and I don't care if you think who won that debate, but Coleman laid down how to do it for the Israeli side.
Yeah.
And everybody's tossing around nowadays. The way you can know Charlie Kirk's a real martyr, like an actual word of the martyr, is now everybody goes and tries to cite his words like they're biblical.
I know, it's crazy.
You know? But I genuinely think that what Charlie Kirk actually really would have wanted is debates like that. And what he was crying at Israel for in that letter to Netanyahu is for them to be better at it like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he wanted. He wanted fact-checking sites, people where they could answer it and do it in a way that is way more internet savvy in the current day. And I think that's what Charlie Kirk was calling for.
Yeah,
I don't think he was turning on Israel. I think he was asking them to be like Coleman Hughes.
Yeah, if anyone here has AIPAC connections, tell them to look at Coleman Hughes and to boost him, because he's their guy. Ben Shapiro sucks at this. He's good at a lot of things. He sucks at this.
He's too close to it. He's too close to it. Just like Cardin's bad at defending Mormons in a certain way. It's like, Cardin, you're not helping. Like you're too close to it. You know, you love it too much. You know, it's like anybody says anything bad about your Nana, you fucking will fuck their face up.
Yeah.
And it's like you're too close to it. You know what I mean? But Coleman just did a great job, and I think maybe it's because by the end of it they're like, no, they must think Dave Smith's a bigot by the end and a terrible, horrible person. But I like Dan Ellsworth too. Dan Ellsworth was one of my favorite people, and he said that he appreciated my comment on Coleman Hughes and all that sort of stuff. But I do not understand announcing to people to not watch something, like putting on a megaphone, do not watch this thing. You know.
Well, and Mormons of all people, how do Mormons not realize this? Because Mormons spent the entire 80s and 90s and the early 2000s even telling their members not to read information from outside sources because they're just anti-Mormon lies. They've realized that they've course corrected pretty well. they've realized that just ignoring the issues and saying those are lies and stupid is well, some of them have. Cardin still just says that they're those have been, you know what I'm saying? Those have been debunked for like 100 years. And that's kind of being popularized, so that's concerning, but I don't know how.
I generally think if I didn't listen to Candace Tucker, I'm not saying people got to go out and listen to them, but I listen to enough Candace Tucker, and I definitely don't listen to Fuentes religiously, but I catch enough of him. I usually catch him more when he goes on other people's podcasts, and then here and there a clip on Twitter. I don't think I've ever sat through an entire thing of a Nick Fuentes podcast, but in all three of those cases, I think that I would think they had better arguments themselves if I hadn't listened.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that's like a guy, one of the lefties at work today was talking about, he's like, oh yeah, RFK said something really stupid about vaccines the other day. And my immediate thought was, what you're saying is probably full of shit. I'm not even going to go research it.
Like, maybe no way is Candace getting that crazy. She's not getting that crazy. She's not.
I know. If people tell me like, no, she's citing her own dreams as reason why Charlie Kirk. Okay, shut up.
Tucker's not. I don't like. Tucker's not fully apologetic of the Maduro presidency.
Yeah.
He's not all in for the Maduro presidency. Like, come. So I think it's still same old Tucker, and he's fine. The stuff that blows my mind is when he goes on sudden major apologia rants for either Putin, and I do think people get out way over their skis about like the danger of Putin, but Putin's not a good dude.
Well, his Russia shit seemed really weird.
Yeah, like, it's overly praising of pieces of total shit.
Well, he's talking about how cheap shit is in Russia, and he's like, it's amazing. It was clean, and the food was so much cheaper there than it is here. And I was like, huh, I didn't know that. That's wild. And then like immediately, Konstantin Kisin released a thing like, what Tucker didn't tell you is
they
that
make 10 cents a week.
Yeah, I know, they make so much less than us. It's relatively speaking, it's way more expensive for them than it is for us. And like, oh, is he dumb enough that he didn't think to look that up? Or is he just like, was he being malicious? And I don't know. It's difficult to say.
Yeah. The Tucker butt kissing Maduro, like I listened to that whole thing. I'm like, was he serious about this? And then we made the joke earlier, and he definitely did it. Like he on Islam, he'll suddenly go like, well, it seems like they have like a pretty nice society, not so many gays, not so many, keep things clean, and they're really
they murder them,
and they're good neighbors and stuff like that. Like, Tucker, what the fudge are you doing, you knucklehead? And then other than that, like he's his same old self in certain ways. It's just every once in a while he goes off on jags like that. Like, what in the hell, dude?
I'm gonna tell Tucker, like, you know what? Iceland is a pretty great society because they actually have way less Down syndrome than we do, because they kill them in utero. That's what they do. And just see how he goes with it. Yeah, they have a lot less gays in Sharia societies. They definitely do, because the ones that don't admit it, they never admit it. I wouldn't, like, if I were gay in an Islamic country. Are you fucking crazy? I would never tell anyone. I'd be like, I just don't get a fuck dudes. I guess that's I just don't get a fuck dudes. And then, but if I did admit it, I'd be thrown off a fucking building. So yeah, it's awesome. They have so much less gays.
That's a pretty good Tucker laugh. You've got to do the rest of the talking like him. It's not.
I just don't know why
I've never met.
I don't know.
Girl.
They keep demonizing Putin, and I don't like Putin, but I mean, why are we demonizing him so much?
Putin's not a good man, but he's not a bad man. He's a good man. He's not a bad man, but Lindsey Graham's terrible. Ha! Which one of the smartest things he did is his big podcast coming back from all that huge cancellation thing was his whole entire hour was take down Lindsey Graham. And I'm like, well, if there was some sort of way of, he didn't even answer to their stuff. He just said, he just went after Lindsey Graham hard. I'm like, if there is a unifying thing, the left and the right can get behind.
Yeah, I know.
It's hating Lindsey Graham.
There's a few people.
He was harsh on him, man.
Well, there's a few people that the left and the right can get behind hating. The sort of telling thing is, though, that they're all Republicans. I'm thinking Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, and Dick Cheney. Like,
no, there's some on the left. I think you can get pretty universal disgust for Pelosi.
You think?
Yeah, with all of her money making on the stock market and stuff like that.
I feel like you get apologetic, but I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to my
and
lefty
she did so much to help like tamp down Bernie and the further left people and stuff like that over the years. And I think they can get, just like everybody hates McConnell. I think a lot of them are like good riddance Pelosi, because she just announced she's not running again. So being which is dead. But I don't know. I don't know that they love Chuck Schumer or anything like that. Maybe they do. I don't know.
I don't think they love him, but they're like, I don't want to shit on him.
I've talked to in my band. Some guys in my band are pretty lefty dudes, and they have pretty healthy hate for Chuck Schumer and Pelosi, and maybe hate him more than I do, type stuff. But Hassan Piker hates him. He's the only other person who gets all the fluff pieces. So now we've got all these articles and magazines who are just going to fluff up Mamdani, Hassan Piker, and Nick Fuentes for us, and that's our future of tribal politics in the U.S. And I start dooming about that sorts of stuff. Like, is this all it's going to be from this point here on out? This sort of tribal horseshit. Anyway, I was going to go to Mark Levin just being annoying. It's pretty short.
God, he is so annoying.
And I just want the anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-West crowd to understand something. You're going to have to come through me and millions of people just like me.
That is pretty scary. I mean, I am scared.
He's over there doing the happy merchant stance while saying, you're going to have to come through me.
It's exactly that South Park kid, man.
And you're not going to make it. You think your stupid...
You're not going to make it.
Little podcast, or your stupid little subscription program, or your little TV show, or maybe...
What do you think Mark Levin's views are in comparison to Fuentes and Carlson?
I have listened to very, very little Mark Levin, but I don't know. I'd say they agree on quite a few things. Just when it comes to race in Israel, they probably disagree.
You have a little radio show is going to change the world like hell it is. Not if I and everybody else have something to say about it. And I just want...
Yeah.
I can think of very few people less equipped to act like a tough, badass fighter guy than Mark Levin. You're gonna have to conquer me. As somebody with an unfortunately nasally, drawly voice, I empathize with him for that. But I'm like, dude, you can't be intimidating with that voice. Yours is worse than mine.
Yours is nasally.
I have a very nasally voice. It's okay. I've come to terms with it.
And so Fuentes, of course, shoots back at that.
I'm furious. I'm absolutely beside myself and furious. The way Mark Levin talks.
Part of what makes me feel like he's a Fed is like the way he talks. It's like he talks like he is media trained. I slur. I don't talk like I'm media trained. Like I am furious. I am here to say every word very clearly for you to hear. It's media trained talking.
Talks about this country.
People say this is complete grassroots. I do not believe Fuentes is grassroots. He's astroturf.
I don't know if you convinced me of that or not. I could see it. I just also some people are just good at this stuff. And as Dave Smith said like 18 fucking times, is like, no, he is unbelievably talented and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, stop glazing his balls for 1 minute just because he doesn't like Israel. And by the way, he doesn't like him for a different reason. You like he hates them because they're Jewish. Okay, you hate them because they're genocidal and all that shit.
I mean, he does some meme magic stuff. I think he's astroturfed a little bit, and part of that is too just like the South Park underwear gnome rise of him, just in the sense of, you know, step 1, get underwear. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, profit. But
yeah,
as I was saying in the chat the other day, it's like the Dewey Cox show made fun of it, and it's something that always drove me nuts about band movies, because anytime there's a band movie, the very first thing it does is it shows them recording the song, and then the next thing you know, it shows just some montage of that song rising in the charts. Like, how did it even get on the charts to start being heard? Like, you skipped a step. You skipped a step of how they got picked up or noticed or purchased, and what sort of people went into those radio stations to sell coke to them to distribute it around. You don't just go into the studio, record a song, and then next thing you know, it's rising on the charts. That's not how that works. You're always missing a step in there. And the same thing with Fuentes. Like, I don't believe he just like had some little podcast and it just started growing and growing and growing. But I do believe the thing of what helped it grow was the cancellations. The cancellation is what helped it grow.
Did you ever watch That Thing You Do?
Yeah.
I actually kind of like that. It's cheesy and schlocky, but there's a couple of great moments in it where, like, the drummer's basically, he's the main character, and he joins the band later than everybody else because they got rid of their old drummer, and he kind of is what gets them to take off because they're playing that Thing You Do song, and it's really slow, and he just gets this idea in his head: if it's a little bit faster, and he like speeds up the tempo. And
yeah,
so
he knows the beat, and it pisses off the songwriter.
Yeah, it pisses off the songwriter, but it works, and that becomes a one-hit wonder. And one of the funniest parts of that movie is how the name of the band is The Wonders, but it's spelled like the number one, like O-N-E.
The Oneaters.
Yeah, they keep calling them the Oneaters. People like, we have the Oneaters, and the lead singer's like, it's the Wonders. And he's pissed off about it. And the drummer's like, or the new manager they get is like, all right, your name is shit. We got to change it to the Wonders, spelled the right way. And the lead singer's real resistant because he thinks it's clever and artsy. And it's funny because Steve Zahn is the bassist. And he's just like,
I love Steve Zahn. Steve Zahn.
Oh, he's so funny as fuck. But at one point, they like announce, we have, after they change their name, we have the Wonders, and Steve Zahn leans into the microphone. Actually, it's the Oneaters.
You actually have a Steve Zahn vibe too. That's somewhere
Steve Zahn vibe.
Yeah, just every single role he's ever in, he's kind of the guy who gets in all of the one-liner type stuff.
He's got in what was it, the shitty Adam Sandler movie, the Ridiculous Six or something. It was a Western movie.
Was he in that one?
He was in that
I saw
one.
that. I don't remember a thing about it except for that kid from Twilight was in it.
Yeah, Taylor Lautner. Yeah, he wasn't too bad in that. I didn't like the movie at all. Me and Morgan like watching shitty movies, and for the entire decade in the 2010s, Adam Sandler was a staple in the shitty movie industry. But I remember we didn't even finish it. There was a couple funny parts in it, like they're playing baseball with the guy that invented baseball, and he's just making up rules on the spot because he keeps like losing. And no, actually, I can run past first. That's a rule. I've always had that rule. Anyway, Steve Zahn has like one of the funnier parts because he's like all cockeyed, and he joins the Right Eye Gang, and they're like, to join the Right Eye Gang, you got to gouge out your right eye. He's like, I can't see out of my left eye, so can I gouge that one out? I wouldn't mind gouging that one out. And they're like, nope, gotta be we're the Right Eye Gang, not the Left Eye Gang. And so he like does it. It shows it in the shit. It's kind of gross. Yeah. And then like, holy shit, you did it. None of us have ever actually done that. He's like, okay, I can't see now.
Man, speaking of Dewey Cox, I just for the first time ever tried to watch the Watson and Holmes, the Sherlock Holmes of with John C. Reilly.
I tried that a couple months ago.
Oh my gosh, it's bad.
Yeah, it was. I got maybe 20 minutes into it.
I honestly think their only problem is they were trying to do British accents and they couldn't be themselves like that very well.
Maybe.
But a couple of the jokes kind of landed for me, like the thing of like, do you want to play chess later? Yeah, sure, checkmate. Like, what? checkmate. I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do this. Checkmate. Like, oh,
bastard, Holmes.
You bastard. That was kind of funny, but other than that, I didn't laugh at anything. Starbase Colo says,
not because you're Jewish, not because you're fat.
Nick is a theater kid. Yes.
Not because you're gay, not because you're a pussy. Mark Levin should be deported because of the way he talks about this country. Where does he get off? The way he says, it's only off the table if we say so. Who the fuck do you think you are? You whiny, grating, odious, disgusting, fat piece of shit traitor. Where do you get off? Damn you. And I apologize for that. As a Christian, we shouldn't curse people, but seriously, damn you. How dare you say that?
This is so rehearsed, though. Like, you don't think that this is so rehearsed.
This is the United States of America. He says, little Adolf, who were his ancestors?
Okay, here's
my ancestors were.
I'll throw you a bone here in saying that if it's rehearsed, he's pretty good at rehearsing it. I thought maybe he was just good at this, but I watched his recent media tour, basically his interviews with Patrick Davis, Gavin McGinnis, Dave Smith, Tucker Carlson. I think there was a fifth one, but anyway,
Sam Hyde. He popped up on Sam Hyde.
Oh yeah, he wasn't nearly as good on those. He wasn't nearly as quick. He was fine, but he was like, I don't know. I think part of it is that he's trying to cuck himself a little bit and be a little less overtly, legitimately racist. And those podcasts were pretty fucking pathetic. Like, I give Gavin McGinnis a pass because most of what he tries to do is be funny, and he was successfully funny. Dave Smith was embarrassing. That was because I watched a shit ton of Dave Smith. He's one of my favorite podcasters. All he did was glaze Nick's ball. He spent the first hour talking about, it's just great that we can have these conversations. Like, dude, you sound like Dave Rubin right now. You should be embarrassed.
Oh, that's right. I remember. We even joked about that.
Yeah, we did. And then for the rest of it, he's just talking about how, yeah, me and Nick. There's a clip. Sitch even shows it in their podcast of Nick talking about how Dave Smith is a useful idiot sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, you disagree on more with Nick Fuentes than you do with probably Ben Shapiro. It's just your one issue. Your one glaring issue is war and Israel. And I understand that war sucks. It's a big deal. But also, like, I don't know. Let's gun to your head, Dave Smith. Would you rather live in Nick Fuentes' dictatorship or Ben Shapiro dictatorship? I don't want to live in either.
Yeah, but I bet you that is a good question for Dave.
But Nick Fuentes' dictatorship means, if he means the things that he says, we're either going to imprison a lot of black people or deport them to a different country. We're going to be an ethno state. We're going to be hardcore authoritarian. I've heard you call yourself an anarchist before, and you're siding with Nick Fuentes. You're smaller government than Ben Shapiro, and Ben Shapiro is way smaller government than Nick Fuentes. He's an authoritarian. Admittedly, this isn't like me exposing him. He says it.
Yep, 100%.
You glazing this guy's balls? Jesus Christ, dude.
But all that said, Mark Levin needs this dressing down too. You know what I mean?
Joe Cairo. Okay.
Oh,
when my ancestors got here, they kissed the ground when they got off the fucking boat. And they served in the military and they built this city. They built Chicago. And they love this country. They always have. They're all patriots. They love our country's God, Jesus Christ. They love this country. Who the fuck are you? And why are you here? You love Israel so much. It's not purely about Israel or the Jews. Why are you still here, fatso? Why are you and Randy Fine still here? Need more money, you fucking pissant? Need more money? Need more Americans to bleed for your wars? Need more money to go and kill children? More bullets to shoot innocent people in the back of the head, you fucking coward? And then they try to gaslight us into thinking we're evil. We're not evil. There's a difference. We're self-righteous. This is not anger. This is not evil. This is righteous indignation. This is more.
I don't know, it goes on and on, but
He does kind of have that. If you want to talk about him being rehearsed, he does. He sounds like a stepdad, trying to lecture a kid on just his cadence. The whole thing is, listen here, kiddo.
Yeah, it's
anti-Semitism. I don't know.
It's not how like a whipped up young guy I would think would be screaming. It's not how any of us would be yelling or screaming at somebody if we were irritated at something.
Yeah, I'm actually very embarrassed to say. Anytime I listen back to these podcasts, do you want to know who I think I sound the most like? Like just sonically, just like my actual cadence and stuff like that. It's fucking Destiny, and I hate it.
No,
I don't know when I
talk to them out and go back far. Chin is loose and all this sort of thing.
I definitely don't do the jaw thing. It's just I feel like when I get really riled up, I speak really fast. And
I think you sound fast.
When I get riled up,
when you get riled up,
I speak very fast, and that's what Destiny does. And
I think you sound sometimes like Dave Damashek.
I don't know who that is.
I'll pull him up. He's sometimes the sports on Adam Carolla. He's a funny guy. We had that one last week, but I love how this looks like they just won the Cub Scout father-son Pinewood Derby. So this is something that some people pointed out, is that Elon just like marked 100% on something, and then Nick Fuentes went after Elon, saying, last year you spent Christmas shilling for H-1Bs and telling everyone who disagreed to fuck themselves in the face. Now that GOP is getting crushed, you're blaming a live streamer. Put Americans first. To keep losing, we don't give a fuck. But they notice like it's a comment on a comment, and it has 4 million impressions. And they're like, what's going on there? Like that does not seem organic type stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Rufo had a pretty good. Can you read that? It's a little blurry.
Yeah, I can. Do you want me to read the Michael Knowles part or just the?
Well, Knowles just said it's good. Knowles is with Daily Wire, so people are all worried if they're speaking right in line or stuff either. But this doesn't. Rufo doesn't say, "Hey, you must denounce them" or some sort of thing like that.
Okay, yeah. So the best way to understand Nick Fuentes is as an actor upon the stage of hyperreality, promoting an empty simulation of Nazism, which is a gift to the left and bait for the right. Outrage drives the phenomenon. A cold, calculated response could stop it. Unfortunately, both liberals and conservatives have played into the act. The left, which for a decade has tried to push the narrative that conservatives are Nazis and that Donald Trump is the new Hitler, has finally found in Fuentes an avatar of right-wing fascism. They play along with Fuentes' irony-laden, hyper-real Nazism because it is useful to them. They give him attention, print his name in prestige publications, and enter into a symbiotic relationship. The left finally gets its Nazi, and Fuentes gets more attention. In the recent controversy, the right has also unwittingly reinforced Fuentes' Nazi performance. Some conservatives have criticized Fuentes, Carlson, and Roberts by posting that Nazis are bad. That's self-evidently correct. Nazism is monstrous. But leaning on that truism blurs the distinction between reality and hyperreality. In the real world, Germany was denazified after 1945, and apart from small pockets of skinheads and neo-Nazis, Nazism is a dead ideology. Fuentes is not a Nazi in a real historical sense, but a live streamer who wields the still charged symbol of Nazism to hijack the discourse and bait his opponents into a reaction. He may genuinely believe what he says, I doubt it, but in either case, that is orthogonal to the point that he is using people's horror at Nazism to serve his ends. Every time conservatives operate on his terms, they reinforce his taboo breaking, making him stronger.
Troy pointed out that was probably just meant 4 minutes, and that might have been fake news, that concept there. Oh, they're saying it was like 2K in 4 minutes is what. So I just said it wrong. But they were pointing out that it seemed like botted because of stuff. So I said it backwards.
Yes. But when he said 4 million, I was like,
I thought it was that.
Christ.
So I was assuming it wrong, but they were pointing out like how fast he got 2K. Well, I could see that under an Elon Musk post. Yeah, I mean, I think that's Rufo's kind of nailing it right there. when a Zen master meets a Zen master on the street, they need no introduction. I thought you were a fan. Douglas Murray also pointed
they're
out
both right.
this is one of the things. Do you know who Fuentes says he would vote between Gavin Newsom and JD Vance?
I saw him say he'd vote Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, why?
I didn't watch it.
Because Newsom's not married to a Jeet.
Oh yeah. Was it a joke though? Because like Jesus,
yeah, it might have been one of his jokes, but at the same
time, well, because
there's all this like saber rattling about who's actual MAGA, and it's like, you guys, Fuentes is the only one who's never even claimed to pretend to be MAGA. Well, I guess he did in the first election, but he hasn't since then. He said he voted for Kamala, or he sat out the vote.
Yeah, he sat out that vote. I think he said he voted for Biden in 20, but I don't know. I had this discussion with one of my lefty friends who was trying to say that part of the reason Kamala lost was because of sexism. And I was like, no, that was not part of the reason he lost. The sexism in elections would only come out if you had two Republican candidates in the primary. One of them is a male and one of them is a female. They're both equally as charismatic. They have exactly the same positions, and they're dead even in the mind of a conservative, and he chooses the man over the woman. I could see that happening, but in reality, and like in practice, you can't get that to be the case. Like if you made a male Tulsi Gabbard and he went up against female Tulsi Gabbard, maybe he'd win. I don't know, because maybe there's enough people who would prefer a man over a woman, and I think it probably is. But that's really never the case. And so what you're really looking at is Kamala lost because of sexism. Okay, let's say instead of Kamala running, it was Joe Biden running. And let's say instead of Trump running, it was Tulsi Gabbard running. Do you think my dad, the quintessential Charlie Kirk, Glenn Beck style normie Republican, do you think he would vote for the male over the female in that case? And he's like, nah. Like, yeah, so it's not sexism that caused this to happen. She's terrible. How do you not admit that she's terrible? Right-wingers are very willing to admit that Mitt Romney was terrible.
No. Although a bunch of Mormons right-wingers still like him, and divas. There is no place for you in our club if you don't fall in line. The GOP Inc. Stop the infighting and demanding results from the GOP and get out there and vote our party. Instead, you don't have a place in it. So this is the thing that the Babylon Bee guys have been kind of going around. I don't think the Babylon Bee guys have been doing a great job when they're actually in the debate world.
No.
They're still good at jokes and that sort of stuff, but this guy's from the Babylon Bee. He's a writer there. He says, how would you advise Joel and I to address the Groypers, given what you know about us, our perspective on things? And this is Dave Green, the distributist, who answers them in good faith. I mean, if you want to read that. And I think this is kind of just the general point. I mean, I guess it's repeating what we said about a little bit earlier, but maybe a little bit more succinct.
This is the distributionist or distributist?
Distributist, yeah.
Do I have to read it in an Irish accent?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Fair question. In short, conservatives need to come to terms with some truths that really much everyone else can see. I'm not doing that anymore. One, collective identity, who we are, is central in modern politics. This isn't going away, short of totally reversing demographic trends in the West. Two, people who fall under the category of white, and Christian are broadly denied any legitimate collective identity that can be directly expressed politically or culturally. Subsequently, these groups are being replaced in all nations that have been classically considered their homelands. Three, all attempts to address these conditions inside the conservative movement are suppressed and redirected towards either constitutional proceduralism, obsolete, or appeals to other groups' well-being, Zionism/civil rights. Four, almost all of the groups can see that these circumstances directly feed into the total dispossession of the European/Christian populations of the West. Yet every time somebody centers this question, the conservatives shoot it down. Nick succeeded despite his manifest flaws because he pointed this all out. You can only defeat Nick by addressing, not minimalizing, scoffing, or obfuscating these issues. Yeah.
Yeah, and he responded, "I'm not. You don't need this whole thing, but you can imagine how those guys respond. Like, I don't know about all that. I don't think I don't know about all that. Well,
Yeah, I mean, I can read it if you want me to.
Nah, there's no point. It's just basically that. Like,
is it retarded?
No, he asked the question, and it was just, well, kind of no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then he responds back to it. So reading responds back to us. Well, none of that's really true. After getting the answer.
You want me to read this one?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But don't act mystified why young guys don't buy the conservative line on Israel when you can do the following exercise. 1, take Zionism and replace it with white/Christian nationalism. 2, take Jews/Judaism and replace it with white/Christian. 3, take Israel and replace it with all Western countries. This will transform any statement conservatives make about Israel into a sentiment you call Nazi. This double standard won't fly. Hey, is the pointing out the double standards, is that making a comeback? Because like for the last 2 years, pointing out double standards felt like just I don't know, just futility.
Yeah.
It felt like, yeah, they know it's a double standard. I think what Fuentes is hitting on is, so I grew up, like I'm a millennial, and I've been talking in the chat a little bit about things that I think are generationally different between you guys and millennials, right? And like, I do feel like we grew up. I remember the first time I heard it. I was probably in like junior high. I just happened to be watching some talk show where they were talking about how by 2035, America will be a minority white country if trends continue, and everybody applauded.
Yeah.
In my head, I had heard all the diversity stuff. I had heard all the liberal MLK type colorblind stuff, and I bought it. You know, I still buy most of that shit. But like, I was like, wait, why is that good? Shouldn't that just kind of be like indifferent? Shouldn't that just kind of, because if we're treating all races equally, that includes white. So shouldn't it be like, oh, okay. Shouldn't that be how we respond?
I think that you are totally right. That you guys, the younger generation and the Fuentes generation, grew up in an era where it's well and done that the different groups are supposed to be thought of as poor baby sorts of stuff, and we still were brought up with completely infantilizing. And I don't know. I guess they try to inculcate it in the schools and all that sorts of stuff, but yeah, we had the liberalism smashed down our heads, and there was some sort of level. I still remember the Chappelle Saturday Night Live the day after the first Trump one, and there's a skit about them sitting up watching with a bunch of his liberal white friends watching it, him and Chris Rock, and him and Chris Rock kind of take Trump winning in stride, but the liberal white friends start the night off just all excited for Hillary Clinton winning. And part of what they were saying in that skit was exactly what you just said, is like, these New York white people said, from what I've heard and seen, because of the changing demographics of the country, this is basically from here on out the future, because the demographics have made it, so this is just going to always go this way from here point out. And Chappelle's there going, really? And, you know, that's a laugh line. Really? But they were cheering in that Saturday Night Live skit exactly what you're saying. Like, oh boy, the demographics have changed it enough but wait a minute, if everybody's supposed to be oikophiliac for their own thing, like, why it is only those New York white people, you know, who vote and hate themselves. I mean, they've shown some studies that they're the only people who prefer the out group to the in group. And it takes a certain level of influence for that, but it also took our certain level of education. Yeah, it's a Gen X boomer education. It's what academic agent calls the boomer truth regime.
Well, it's like, you don't know what you're doing to white men by having this kind of discussion constantly about them, having a discussion that entirely precludes them of like, all races get to do this thing. Well, except you. Women get to do this thing. You don't. Gay people get to do this thing. You don't. So I know that's become a meme at this point. oppression of the straight white man. But I've thought about this a lot since having 3 presumably straight white boys, and it actually pisses me off. Like, I don't get pissed off very often. Like, I like to yell and scream on here and like really play it up for comedic effect or whatever, because I'm a comedian like Cara Burrell.
I don't understand it with feminist white women with white boys. Like any single one of them, I'm like, how are you on this train? Do you not care about your offspring?
No, that's exactly what I was thinking, because I can laugh off just about anything. Like, Risto even pointed out to me the other day that when Maven said the worst thing anyone's ever said to me, she called me worse than a rapist. And I just laughed at it. I was like, yeah, that's, she's just silly. And he's like, I don't know, maybe you should be upset about it. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, but I'm not, because she's retarded. But like if something makes me upset, it means it's a really fucking big deal to me. And I remember watching The View where they're asking the dumb bitches, the stupid hags of The View, about like what would happen if all men disappeared. And they were, Joy Behar's up there like, oh, it would be great. That would be so awesome if all the straight white men disappeared, everything would be so much better. Except the gay ones. Keep the gay ones here. And they're laughing at it. I'm like, you have sons. I know you have sons. How could you say that about your son? Are you going to go tell him that was a joke? It was an exception. You're an exception to that rule or something? Because you're also saying it to my son. And like, I don't know, if you call me worse than a rapist, that's fine. But then it also, Risto's probably right. Maybe I should be a little insulted by that, because it implies that my son is worse than a rapist. And I'm angry about that. All right. I haven't gone Fuentes, but
if I had a kid, I would be raging about it. I think I would go full, not Fuentes, like saying I love Hitler, but I'd go full fuck you.
I just remember my friend, like my lefty friend, making fun of Jordan Peterson at one point because some lady told him, like, well, it seems like you appeal mostly to straight men. What do you think about that? And he teared up. He cried for a second and he said, would that really be so bad? if I was, that's the worst thing in the world, right? That I'm reaching out to this group of people. Isn't that terrible? And I was like, fuck, that's correct. And I was listening to that, and I go to pick up Cafe Rio for my wife, and there's this scrawny, pimply faced white kid behind the counter. And in the back of my head, I'm just like I want to cry for you. Nobody fucking cares about you. They hate you. And I know that's not true. I know he's got plenty of people in his life that love him. But that's the sentiment you get when you delve into this shit. Oh, they hate you. And for a lot of us, it's okay if they hate me. But then when you have a kid, somebody you would fucking die for, somebody whose your entire world revolves around this guy, and you love him more than you knew you could ever love anything, and they say that about him, you get a bloodlust rage when you realize they're saying that about him. My 7-year-old, awesome, perfect kid. You're saying that about him, and he's done nothing. He's just a nice kid. And so fuck you. And then you start to understand why they go Fuentes, because he's one of the only people left that's just being nice to them. And he's a dumbass. He's a dick, and he's an actual racist. Far be it from me to call somebody racist, because I hate it.
It's upsetting to me. What I doomer is like, why is Nick Fuentes the voice? Like, he's got enough shit around him, and it should be a line that other more rational people should be able to take up, and it doesn't have to be so tied to I'm super up on this Jewish question here constantly. Like, you can absolutely like ask the question, like, why are we sending all the money there and all that sort of stuff? But we need like somebody who's out there in the thing who that's not everything that they're wrapped up in of just being attached to. And I do get the sense of that thing that Tucker Carlson assumed of him, Tucker Carlson assumed that he was a Fed because he thought this is the person that you attach. I saw somebody put that joke. I sent it to you where it said, if Fuentes didn't exist, Ben Shapiro would need to create him. But there is some sort of a sense of he's the one saying it, and he's already been made the taboo man, and for other reasons been made the taboo man, and he's a weird little whiny gay boy too, and all that sorts of stuff. And you go, well, Peterson maybe used to be that role, and Peterson filled that role well. You know what I mean? Or maybe Charlie Kirk, the guy who's actually speaking on behalf of them.
You guys
now it's Fuentes. You know, somebody needs to pick. Brett Weinstein's a pretty good. Brett Weinstein's another one who's had his head on right about the stuff. And one of his first videos he put out on YouTube was exactly saying, it was a short little YouTube about the evolutionary process that will bring about the backlash. Like, you are going to get this backlash. It was one of his first videos ever. But yeah, there just has to be better voices than Fuentes, but they should be as mad as Fuentes about that. You know?
Yeah. It's you guys Nazified Jordan Peterson. Like, you made him a Nazi. I know you've got a Nazi who admires Stalin somehow. Like, he's the worst of everything.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Hegelian dialectic, and I don't know. I hadn't thought about that concept much before. You know, you and I started talking a lot, and the more I saw it, the more I was like, wait a minute, does the Hegelian dialectic somehow always take the worst of the synthesis and antithesis, and or the thesis and antithesis? Fucking hell. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Like Group A are a bunch of honest retards, and then Group B are a bunch of smart evil people. So you got the thesis is Group A, the antithesis is Group B, and the thesis, I would take worse of both of them and admire evil retards. It seems to be what it is every time.
Yeah. See what Brett was saying here. He says,
oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
I wish Israelis understood what is happening to the goodwill towards Israel that existed in the U.S., and more importantly, why that goodwill is evaporating. There is considerable anti-Semitism here, and it's spreading. But there are also legitimate questions that are being shut down with false accusations of bigotry. That has to stop. It is pushing the anti-Semites and the people with legitimate concerns onto the same team, a colossal blunder. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's a perfect... Brett is always... Yeah, he's a voice of reason in pretty much every situation.
Yeah, and it's the frustrating thing about the whole entire thing, and there's also noticing that Shapiro and Levin aren't helping it. I don't think like D'Souza or Konstantin Kisin have been perfect about it, but they haven't been as bad. But they've both made a point of like pointing out that exact sort of thing of like, there's people here with legitimate concerns, and beyond that, there's people here with it's not even grievances, like with the way they've talked to young white men for the past 10-15 years that they've been growing up and that sort of stuff. I mean, maybe they're still even young enough that they haven't like fully felt like the financial outfall of that or something, of like not getting jobs or getting passed over for maybe it's been happened in schools and all that sorts of stuff or whatever, but it's got to turn around. Like the pissing and stomping and shitting on them's got to turn around, or you are really going to get an army of Fuentes in the world. And everybody's been saying that for 10-15 years. I just saw that was it the Jolly Heretic was saying, we all predicted this, we all saw this, we all knew it was coming, everybody knew it was coming, everybody knew the backlash was coming. I'm just kind of shocked at how fast it's coming. And to me, it's actually, if I stop and think about it for how long we've been talking about this and looking at it, to me, it's coming about right on time.
Yeah, I know.
It was about right now. I thought it was going to start.
We talked about. I got a buddy who's she's like a devout feminist zealot, you know, and she's retarded on just about everything. And like 2 years ago, she was texting me asking about this shit, and I was like, well, I'm not like as right wing as you think I am, and you're dumb if you think that the pendulum isn't going to swing the other way, because it is. And when it swings, people will view me as being on your side. They'll call me a race mixing fag lover, like because I'll be like, I don't think there's anything wrong with interracial marriage. I'm fine with gay people getting married, all that shit. And it's going to swing fucking hard because you guys are going insane. And it doesn't take a genius to know that. A bunch of midwit right wingers that I know, I think I heard Dave Rubin say that, and he's the midwittiest of midwits on the right wing. And I am not surprised with where you're right. It does feel exactly.
Yeah, it was about right now. It was 10 years ago we were saying this is going to come, and it's about so it is about like right now, and
right on schedule.
It's not just the neo-conny type people who are pushing it. I mean, the woke already played their role in it. This guy, I think this is a pretty
sequel to woke. This is an idea I've heard floated quite a bit recently.
You see this Brittany Bainty put on blackface, and when the EBT hits and it showed her like holding the chicken, everybody freaked out about it, and they didn't know that she was black, so she trolled them all. And but anyway, some people say, when the resurgence of woke inevitably hits, some of you are going to be very, very sad about the consequences. And I do think there's a fear of the resurgence of it, but
the basic premise is that the edgelord culture we're currently seeing is just a reaction to the 2016 to 2020 woke era, and thus there will be another woke era as a reaction. I actually like where their head's at, because at least they're thinking in terms of cycles rather than linear progression. But they're not thinking big enough, because the woke era was really a culmination and climax of a much larger 80-year cycle. Since the Enlightenment, thinkers have been trying...
This isn't Tim Pool, the Great Turning stuff.
What's that?
Down whether...
Tim Pool always pushes that the Great Turning, like some 80-year cycle stuff. He's not talking about.
Differences in human groups are attributed to environmental factors or genetic factors. 17th century philosophers tended to be preoccupied with explaining group differences by environmental factors. Inspired by figures like John Locke, who suggested that had the native king Opechancanough been educated in England, he could have made as good a mathematician as any in it. Similarly, at the time, Lamarckism was a popular explanation for evolution that said that organisms could pass physical traits onto their offspring that had been acquired over their lifetime. This environmental determinism reached its climax in the mid-19th century in its own version of a woke era, where figures like John Stuart Mill wrote in 1848 that to suggest that group differences are due to inherent characteristics was most vulgar. Then in the last quarter of the 19th century, partly due to Charles Darwin dropping his all-time hit on the origins of species, the pendulum began to swing in the genetic determinist direction and ultimately in social Darwinism. Human differences were now attributed to inborn biological differences, and to suggest otherwise was a radical liberal position. According to Pierre Vandenberg, social Darwinism saw its political expression in fascism and economic expression in laissez-faire capitalism, but I like to view as the anti-woke climax. Then, in the 1920s and 30s, thanks to figures like Franz Boas, environmental determinism began to get a little bit of traction, ultimately succeeded as becoming the new orthodoxy, and to suggest that group differences were due to inborn traits was to align yourself with the bad guys that lost in World War II and was treated as heresy. So over the next 70 years, America set out on a mission to close the social disparities amongst racial groups, from the Civil Rights Act, which gave legal equality across all the groups, to disparate impact, to the lowering of standards in academia and business, all of which did not close the huge social disparities. So then in 2016, the left looks around and their mission has failed, but rather than accept this failure, they say that, well, this societal factor or cultural factor must be much more subtle and deeper than we realize. So they go on a 4-year witch hunt to find it, from policing microaggressions to cancelling anyone that is a threat to this liberal orthodoxy, to ultimately tearing down the statues of Confederate and colonial leaders, because none of this worked and all of the huge social disparities still exist today. The woke era was the left losing their minds because they were trying to find something that wasn't there. And what you're seeing now is a rejection of that original premise, the erroneous ideological foundation of race liberalism. And you're seeing the beginnings of the pendulum swing back towards genetic determinism as it did in the middle of the 19th century. Are we about to get a...
I do think that's somewhat happening. Not that it has to go all the way to pure genetic determinism, but there has to be a level of there's some marked or viewable genetic determinism at large or grand scale, or if it's genetic or cultural or sort of thing like that. But I think it is a bigger cycle coming to an end, or changing, or it's flipping back. And like I said at the beginning of this, or the future, I guess, is we're just going to do tribal politics, tribal voting now. I'm not even saying that that's a good thing. That's a good thing the woke's gone. Whatever the next thing is, if it's exactly right or not, it's tribal. It's tribalism. Like, hello, tribalism. Like the tribalism. But how would it not have come out from everything that they pushed on us for the past 15, 20 years? But
yeah,
Sargon
I
would
don't know.
say that it was going to always come out anyway.
I don't know.
But I don't know. I don't know if the overkill didn't push it back that direction. But.
So one of the things I've noticed, I don't know, from pretty much the first time I started really looking at all this shit, was it seems like a battle of nurture versus nature. One side is 100% nurture, the other side is 100% nature. You got the blank slate theorists, and those guys inevitably go communist, and that's retarded. And then you've got the full nature people, and they go Fuentes. And it's not like I'm not a centrist on this. I would say many things that are called social constructions, I would say, are usually about 85% nature and 15% nurture. That just a lot of things. It's not all things, obviously. Like, I don't know, I could be convinced gender, for example, something like affinity for the color pink. I'd be willing to say that's probably a social construction, but I'm also open to the idea that maybe there's a biological reason behind that. Maybe because females can see like more color hues than males can. So maybe there's a biological reason for it. But I'm totally willing to say that that's entirely socially constructed. That's not really a big deal to me. But things like being more nurturing and stuff like that, that I would say that's not a social construction, but a biological fact, an evolutionary fact even. I'd say that's 85% nurture. Nature, and 15% nurture. Like, yeah, we do encourage. You're putting the cart before the horse if you're saying the fact that women are better suited for raising very young children while the men are out doing, like, providing for their family or whatever. You're very naive to say that that is entirely socially constructed. You're putting the cart before the horse because it's like we clearly evolved for it. If you, I don't know, I always view things in caveman days. That was that Ape That Understood the Universe book really kind of put it all into perspective for me, because he always puts things in caveman days, right? And it says that, like, well, in caveman days, humans, when they're born, they're very helpless, and our brains are so developed that they couldn't fit out of the vaginal canal when they're as developed as other animals are. So that's why cows can walk immediately after they come out of the womb, and humans can't. And so it's a really, really high cost, really, really, it's a low reproduction rate and a high investment rate. And it fucks up women pretty badly. So a woman couldn't be expected in the caveman days to give birth one day and then the next day go out and scavenge for food for her baby. So those genes probably died out. The genes that won are the ones that had a man that hung out with them and said, okay, you're recovering, you deal with this baby, I'm going to go out and get us some food. So it makes sense that we do this now. And it's crazy because I've gotten into arguments before where I explained this to one of my lefty friends, and he was like, but we've had the birth control pill, so we beat that. You think we beat evolution? Really? You think we beat a couple 100,000 years?
Uphill for 20 years.
Yeah, we've had that shit for like 70 years. Do you think we've conditioned, like, you think we've artificially evolved women into being more prone to, and this guy is like full-on atheist, evolutionary, all that shit, and I agree with him on the evolutionary stuff, but like, I'm like, dude, if you have you're just using this as a product for yourself. You don't actually look into it, because that evolution shit takes a long fucking time. We would have to have the pill for another, I don't know how long. How long would we have to have the pill until women legitimately
2,000 years? 2,000, 3,000? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd have to be a.
Although
fuckload of
you could account for some of that it is likely completely also jacking around their hormones and their
Oh,
minds
yeah.
and that sorts of stuff. So
Well,
probably
and
a little
that's the thing.
faster.
If we could socially engineer that, a change to bring women up,
Say
bring women
500 years.
toward men. If we could do that, we'd be totally fucked if shit hit the fan. Like we would die, because if we bred that gene out of existence that had women being more nurturing and better with babies than men, and men being more aggressive and going to get food for the women, if shit hit the fan, we'd have a bunch of effeminate men and a bunch of kind of masculine women, and neither of them would be able to effectively perform.
Well, you're actually like hitting to right in the spot that I was going to get to, but I'm not going to be able to get through the whole things because I got to go walk a doggy. But yeah, that all led to two major articles that got released this week. And one is having a boyfriend embarrassing now. And then the second one was this one here called The Goon Squad. And almost everything just kind of seems like it's a general push towards eugenics. Jonathan shared this from that ALOC freak. This guy where it's basically shaming people out of their what do you call it? Like the eugenic nation reports the eugenic nation faults and frontiers of breeding, but it's basically shaming American whites out of having kids coming from this social justice activist. But these, I don't know, maybe we could just start on those next week if there's not enough like wackadoo politics coming out in the middle of it. But yeah, just here's a, you remember the ALOC dude, right? He's that transgender person who says young girls should be able to have sex.
Your children are a lot sexier than you think they are.
How family values became a code word for eugenics, a history of marriage counseling in the U.S. So, I mean, I guess everything that I said that Downey Jokes was right about was actually just eugenics in the U.S. And the Goon Squad, this whole thing is just about how certain different young men have gotten into gooning so much they're turning it into competitions, like day-long competitions and things that they share and send back and forth with each other, and they don't, like, they center their lives. They even call themselves goon sexuals and all that sort of stuff, and they're not in any sort of way looking to go and have, they're porn sexuals, they also say. They're not going to ever go try to have a thing. And then you got Vogue here saying that it's cringy and embarrassing to have boyfriends, and that's, but, and the pill. So just give us 500 years of that and we'll have
I've mentioned to you that I think it's happened to all people since social media became a thing, but I think millennials are exceptionally affected by the idea that, and this was my criticism of South Park. I love South Park for a lot of reasons, and my big criticism is that it seems that in South Park the cardinal sin is the sin of sincerity.
Yeah,
and they do push back against it a couple times, usually using Butters
or Mormons.
Yeah, no, they did that in the Mormon episode. The moral of the story was them being fucking assholes because this Mormon kid, he had these weird beliefs, but he loves his family, they got a big family. They love every second of their lives together. And I feel that pull away from anything perceived as cringe. And that can be good in some ways, but it can also be bad. It can get you to it can get you into a paralysis if you let it. It can get you to not making any decisions, not getting off the couch, because getting off the couch and stopping criticizing things, if you're wrong about it, you're cringe. And cringe is the biggest sin you could possibly commit. But it can be good in some ways because I'm a spiteful person. I mean, I don't know, a few of the things that used to, I want to swear less. I actually want to swear less. And it's not because I think there's anything wrong with swearing. I just think that millennials made swearing cringe. It's not cool anymore because there's not just a couple people that did it. I thought I was cool when I was the only ex-Mormon in the family. On my side and my wife's side. Now they're all leaving the church, and some of them are getting tattoos. Tattoos. They're another one. Like, I wanted a tattoo, and that was cool. That used to be a thing that sort of on the edge people did. Nope, they're cringe now. But also, on the bright side, being faithfully married and having children is cringe. Or not cringe. It's
embarrassing now. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's not cool anymore. It's not the people that want to be really cool are not doing it. And I always want to stay as far away as possible from the people who are specifically trying to be cool. So I'm like, I don't know. Morgan was like, I had a dream we had 3 more kids. It's like, I'll have 3 more kids with you. We can have 6 fucking kids. Hell yeah. I like having kids. Because the cringy people are the dinks. Holy fuck. Of course we're dual income, no kids. We go to, I don't know, Havana twice a year or some shit like that.
Steve says, my wife used to swear even in church. Now she makes me go. Well, yeah, sincerity's got to come back. I even think like with the Fuentes thing, it's like if he's making any points at all, it needs to come from not a troll, and but maybe he serves that purpose, or maybe sometimes only being trolls or being edgy or shitty is the only way you can cut through when stuff's not getting heard. But he's got the attention now. But I mean, all the stuff, it just has me doomerish because stuff seemed. I mean, that's a good thing to end on what you're saying. Stuff all seems nutty and not serious. Like every ounce of the Mamdani thing just seems like, hey, haha, look at fucking New York, what they did to themselves, and the right cracking in half. I mean, Shapiro and just maybe South Park joked about it the best in those years where they're cracking about. Yeah, we just joked everything into oblivion here, but I don't know. It did seem really hard to kind of look around and see anybody who could just kind of like thread it right the past week or two, and not just thread it right. Like, how do you get a group, or how do you ever get solidarity with something that's so hard to thread in the world?
It's I don't know, the whole sincerity thing. The Man in the Arena speech by Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Morgan got it for me and put it on my wall, and it feels cringe, but it felt like a necessary cringe, because he's like, what is it? It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never know victory nor defeat. I like that. It's cheesy, but it's sincere. It's like a real thing, and I do feel like a massive fault of millennials is demonizing sincerity, and there's nothing more sincere than being the man in the arena.
Yeah.
And I'm never the man in the arena. I'm the man on the couch.
Well, we try to be in the arena, but we're doing our best here. I mean, this is broadcast the world. It's just it doesn't have the Fuentes grab. We needs to be astroturfed out there.
Yeah, fuck the Jews.
Do you want to know what just announced? I'm seeing it on Twitter right now. Is just hit #1 worldwide show.
Candace Owens.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's retarded. Did you see before we sign off because I got to go watch the kid. Because apparently my wife wants me to do woman shit and watch the kid or whatever tonight.
Oh, that's girl stuff.
Oh, she needs a break. Oh, it's hard having a baby and 2 other kids. God, it's so gay. I'm sorry I admitted that. Anyway, before we go, did you see my Maven thing I posted?
Where?
It was in the Quakey chat. It should be just one of the most recent things. I was like, how's Maven doing? And so I searched her on Reddit.
I hadn't even seen that. Oh, okay. Here, I'll pull it up.
I'll read it for you because it's.
I hadn't even thought about her for a while.
I know. Anytime I pull up Reddit, which is very rare, I'm like, I should check on Maven. Pulled it up today, and I was like, I'll check on Maven. And it's pretty funny because this post was somebody who voted for Trump, and you can see that it said voted for Trump, and I'm extremely disappointed. And the post was basically this person.
Oh,
saying,
I did read some of this. I didn't realize it was Maven.
I know I didn't say her name, so I don't think you guys noticed. But yeah, this guy was basically saying like he kept telling me he was going to drain the swamp. He kept telling me he was going to do this or this or this. But then he sent billions to Israel, and then he did blah 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 blah, like dumb shit that I didn't want him to do. And Maven said, "You had no reason to believe he'd do any of those things." Things he said he'd do? Really? Like, I mean. Whatever. The only reason people voted for Trump was bigotry. End of story. You should have put full stop at the end of that and then typed out period. You heard what you wanted to hear about people who you villainize. If you actually cared about corruption, there was more than enough evidence to know exactly what kind of man Trump was from the beginning. We told you, we've been telling you, you didn't care. If you can't dig down and figure out your hatred, you'll never learn the true lesson here. So there you have it. The only reason people voted for Trump was because of bigotry. Just like the only reason people are pro-life is because they want to control women's bodies. Maven is, I don't know if you knew this, but a retard.
Maven is what I would also call a retard.
Okay, then I nailed it. I was worried that you wouldn't agree with me on that. Because I know we disagree on a lot of things, but it's just great that we have these conversations.
We can all circle back around. I mean, you gave me the answer. I was like, how can the world kind of reunify again? Because it seems so fractured everywhere. And you did point out that we could possibly all agree that Maven is a retard. So. All right. Well, I got to get running this poop around or he will chew my feet off.
That's okay. So. I got to go get my baby.
Baby. Be good, little baby. All right. Thanks for chilling, everybody.
See you later.
Have a good one.